All right. Let's actually bring us into frame. We've got a couple things that I want to do at the very beginning here. First of all, I assume you all see the great big X on the screen.
A little suspicious, yes.
Yes, that is our X card. It's on the it's in the handouts. Yeah, the journal. You all should be able to drag one over, and there is no identification of who did it, so that goes with the anonymity. As we discussed in the session 0, you see something, if something's going on that is making you so uncomfortable that you need it to stop, then X card. I don't want, just, I don't like hearing about vomit, which would be my thing. And so X card that. If it's, something that you can just play through, then let's try to avoid the disruption. But if it is to the point of, discomfort, I guess I'm just mincing words now, but if it's too uncomfortable, absolutely X card it. The second thing is, you can see that the play space here has been cleaned up a little bit. You guys all have tokens attached to your character sheet. That is the Raza symbol now. It became the Raza symbol last night. Those of you that are stuck with a Raza symbol for your token should get me some art. Photorealism by style.
I noticed I gave you art and I still don't have my token.
Oh shoot, did you?
Yeah.
I ignore half the things you sent to me, Meowkin.
Wow.
Only
That's
half.
not even that much.
I mean, if you had just sent it twice, I would have ignored one of them and gotten the other.
Like, you even commented on it.
Did I?
Like, jeez.
How long ago? I did.
Like, just yesterday. My feelings are very hurt right now, Dexter.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You did. I'll put that up on a break.
It's no big deal.
No, I've got my GIMP file set up so that it takes me only a few minutes to actually do that. I just don't want to do it right now while we're starting up.
Yeah. Oh no, it's fine. Now I know what you really think of me.
Oh, we had a Struckless, and now they're a Marcus. I'm the only person here with a completely bizarro name.
Oh yeah, no, I just realised I need to update that.
I mean, Archibald's a totally normal name.
It's totally normal.
I mean, it is normal, I suppose. It just seems
I
a
know
little
an Archibald.
Oh, really?
And it's funny because he goes by Archie, and he's bald.
Yeah.
Nice.
Rude.
So I just wanted to go over the war support system real quick with you guys again. I think the best way to do that is to bring the sector map in.
We can have a song. Is it a musical number?
Ooh.
No.
The logistics system tango?
No.
Da da da.
Is that always data? I'm sorry. I have no idea how long the delay on my broadcast is. Seems kind of long. So, anyways, last, I don't think anybody can see this anyway, so I'll pull it down. On session 0, I described to you a sort of war effort system. And I just wanted to give some clarification again about how that works out. Use the ruler here. You should all be on a sector map page.
Yes.
And you guys are over here in Zenthra. that real. And we can put your ship map down.
Our ship map?
Not ship map.
Token.
Token. Yeah.
That's a big boy.
Less of a big boy. All right. That's where you're at. That's where your base of operations is at. With logistics cost with logistics of 5, you can get from Zenthra to Panjati Varul, which sorry, your Braza operations can get from Zenthra to Panjati Varul using 3 of those points, and another 2 gets through. You know what? I'm realizing that this is much worse when I'm not actually streaming the map or sharing the map with you. Let me try a different approach. Does anybody have any questions about the war support that they'd like answered right now?
No. I think we went over it pretty well.
Okay. I definitely went over it better with you than with than with these folks. I learned several things in my first effort. Okay. Well then, let me skip that. I do have some better graphics coming, which will make it a lot easier for me to layer over the actual logistics stuff. And make it a lot easier to see right there in Roll20 what things are. Let's go ahead and just flip on back to the ship combat page. Huh. Okay. Sorry, I'm suffering some technical difficulties right now. It appears that my Roll20 that I'm using for streaming does not actually update unless I have it visible. Ah, that's something new for me. All right, I'll deal with that. So, you guys had a selection of missions. That is not. I'm not using that. Although, if you crop it right, it does look like a ship.
Yeah, I can see it.
Get
That's why I call it the marmoset.
get that little face in there. Um, all of that was in planning. And all the way up here. Wow, there's a lot of stuff typed. Fantastic. I love when stuff is typed. Did you guys decide on what you want your characters to be doing and what you want any other NPC to be doing?
And then ship roll.
No, as in the mission. What is the first mission that your characters are going to be sent on?
My vote for the player-led mission was Daddy Warbucks, where we drag Zoe out to pay a visit to her father so that we can normalize relations with the sector that he controls, or the system that he controls. But as far as the NPC missions go, I was a little bit confused about how that whole system was going to work. Okay. And moreover, because I'm new to the crew, I don't know what our NPC capabilities are.
Mm-hmm. No, that totally makes sense. I've moved you over to the Raza organizational page, and aside from the other specialized box, these NPCs are approximately in order. Oh, and aside from the Marmoset box. Those at the top are a tier 2 NPC, those in the middle of their box are tier 1, and those at the bottom are still tier 0. that's perhaps the most important thing for mission commander is what their NPC tier is. Um, if you want to send assistance with them, then the specialist that goes along should have some kind of specialty or special skill or basically some familiarity with what they're doing. And so I think that makes sense. You don't know a lot of these people yet, neither does Ben. And so, Meowkin and Lulu, if you're present, did you guys have any ideas on that NPC mission?
I'll be honest, I missed that part where it was one of the missions was for the NPCs to do.
Oh, gotcha.
I see that now when I go back when you're like we're talking about this. Like, oh, I read it. I swear I read it. I just didn't comprehend it.
Fair.
Anyways,
In
so
any
we do one,
case,
they do one.
I think that the prudent choice would be to choose one of the lower difficulty ones, because you mentioned that difficulty number was predominantly for if we were sending NPCs to do it.
Yes.
So probably Graveyard Exorcism, Scavenging the Dead, or Honorable Mention.
Yeah.
As far as the different specialties go here, I noticed that we've got their technical skills, but especially if we're looking at something like Honorable Mention where there's going to be some diplomacy involved, which of these specialties most likely applies to that?
So this is something I did a deck about whether the old Raza crew would, I guess, be applied to this and not just our own particular crew, which probably that is something that might be worth writing down for the new people decks, like what we had on the old crew, because while Nemesis and I are aware of it, that is not something they're going to know like at all.
I may have misunderstood your question and answered a different question. Were you asking if the old crews, as in Jai, Nemesis, and Zoe, are available?
No, I meant the NPCs.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, you're right. It would be valuable to have some kind of indication on each of the NPCs about what kind of specialties they have. But I also don't. I think I would just prefer it to be more of a you become familiar with them over time. Those NPCs that
No,
have.
Jack, the problem here is they don't even know like the skills of all these people.
That's on roll 20. I mean, he hasn't sorted. He has crew, guard, technician, science, and then
Yeah.
other.
The old one?
Uh-huh.
I mean, what do you mean the
Okay.
old one? I mean, yeah. Are you able to get? You're not on roll 20, are you?
No, I'm not in
Okay.
roll 20 right now.
No. He's got the NPCs all sorted out in little boxes, basically indicating what their
Okay.
skill levels are and what.
It might be worth separating this out so we have the current crew of the Marmoset and the.
Yeah, he's already got them. He's already got them separated out.
Yep.
Okay.
It's all very nicely presented.
In that case, there is someone who's like a media expert that I'm reasonably sure could do like diplomatic stuff for us.
Elisa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're specialized.
So there's not too much worry there. We've got a +2 there, and we could probably send someone along to assist her who's reasonably competent.
So do you like the honorable mention with what was it?
The one thing I'd say is that are any of these something people really want to do on their own? As like a PC mission for the lower difficulty stuff.
Sounds like we want to drag Zoe out to see Daddy. Is the only expression, only one I've heard.
Yeah, well, if that's what well, I mean, like I'm not going to be really around for this one, so I'm going to try to avoid putting my 2 cents in for that. But character-wise, I think honorable mention something that's probably fine to send just please.
Yeah, that'd be an easy one for Lisa. I think.
Sorry.
Not, I guess Lisa's not really a diplomat, but it's the closest thing we have.
Media personality, close enough. Other thoughts there for what we'd want to do?
I mean, I'm pretty interested. Hold on, what was it? I mean, I'm kind of curious about Beyond the Veil, personally, but
Now-
but mostly because I have that whole, it's like, we still haven't figured out the deal with David, and it's not directly David, but it's tangentially David.
To be fair, I can actually see the exact conversation that went down when they were assigning this mission to the crew for Beyond the Veil. Because I imagine Jai just like, fine, fuck it, we'll look into David, just send these losers on it. Now shut up about it.
So are you talking about Beyond the Veil as something
Like-
you want to see the NPCs take care of for you, or something you want to personally do later?
That's
I
kind
think
of my vote as a player. But I guess are we going to do Daddy Warbucks as players? I guess, given it's the most difficult.
We haven't made a firm decision on that yet. I think that's what we're discussing.
The main issue with Daddy Warbucks I see is that that's probably going to be a diplomacy heavy mission. Is anyone on the crew actually good at that?
Nope.
I have no idea what you built your characters for, and while like I'm a generalist expert, I don't actually have like talk or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got talk, but I'm not an expert. Anyways,
I
what do you
have
wanna do?
several adjacent skills to talk.
Yeah, I mean, I have talk 1, just no reroll.
You actually have talk 1.
I do indeed have talk 1 and connect 1.
Oh, so you put 2 points in character. Okay,
That's not
useful.
terrible then.
Yeah, between the two of us, we're going to be very, very well connected.
Okay, then yeah, it's possible to work with it.
Unless, do you want to do another one instead until we figure out what's happening? Or do you want
I'm
just
not
do
going to
Daddy
be here
Warbucks?
for most of this, so I'm trying to avoid my input beyond just saying like make sure you have the skills for a thing.
Yeah, so this is mostly good. This mission is mostly going to be Ben, Meowkin, and Hilaire. Nox should be joining us next week, so they'll also be involved with it. But to get the ball rolling, between you three, what do you think is your preference?
Let's do an easy one then. Let us do what?
Well, Dexter also mentioned that the difficulty on these was more for when we sent NPCs on them. It wouldn't necessarily reflect their difficulty if we were doing them as PC missions.
Right. That's exactly correct. It's that difficulty is just a target number for the NPCs to reach.
I mean, I'm also thinking of it from a player perspective, which is my character has no idea about any of these NPCs, and therefore I don't want to go negotiating on their behalf just yet if I know nothing about them.
Yeah, might be better.
The DCs are entirely a mechanical contrivance, and you should probably ignore them when making choices
for this.
Yeah, but my character has no idea about the other NPCs, and what their goals and motivations are as of yet. So it's like I have no idea about the interrelationship of the LaRue story. Well, my character doesn't. So I wouldn't want to be the primary person negotiating on all of that.
Okay.
So my vote would be to do another one until my character learns about the NPCs and their wants and needs and stories. I would probably just vote for Scavenging the Dead.
Yeah, I'm cool with I was thinking actually Scavenging the Dead seems one that might be a little bit critical. And I don't really know if the green liquid was the scary. Do you remember if that was the one that's
Oh, I know
No bueno?
exactly what it is. I'm not going to
Okay.
explain any further, though.
Okay, yeah, basically all Jai said is it's very dangerous. Right.
I'm sure that's all that Jai said. And Jai probably also issued an extra decontamination and quarantine period after that mission for anyone who is assigned to it.
There, like, it's worth noting, Dex, that he does have actually the vaccination stuff and a pretty decent supply of it.
I imagine that if anybody did get infected, he would want to at least see what it was doing to them before he applied that.
That's quite well.
Also, it's really close to home, so it makes sense. It's a first
It is
mission.
worth noting, Dex, that it really depends on whether he thinks the vaccine could be applied post-infection.
Oh, okay.
I think determined it could be, right?
Yeah, in any testing that was done, Ra's Command knows that if these are the same tubes as what they extracted from the vault on Trinitafade, then, and they do look like the same tubes, then the counter agent you have is a cure.
Not a vaccine, but a cure.
Not a vaccine, yeah.
Then yeah, there's nothing being applied yet.
Alright, so we've got some interest in Daddy Warbucks and some interest in Graveyard Exorcism.
Or Scavenging the Dead.
Scavenging the Dead, sorry.
I think that sounded like 2 votes for Scavenging the Dead and 1 for Daddy Warbucks. So Scavenging the Dead.
Okay.
Unless we don't live in a democracy.
This is a dictatorship now.
Just to make things fun, I'm going to go ahead and vote for Daddy Warbucks.
Shut up, you're not here. You only get a vote if you're in roll 20.
Hey, democracy or not, the person who was interested in Daddy Warbucks is conceding for Scavenging the Dead because it's more important to me that we get to play the mission than that we talk about what mission we do.
Yes.
Exactly.
What?
So I'm going to ask you to take 5 more minutes at most to figure out what mission, if any, you're sending an NPC on, and if we can't do that in 5 minutes, 4 minutes now, then
I think we settled on honorable mention for Lisa.
Okay.
As our most diplomatically minded NPC.
All right, that works for me.
And let us go scavenge the dead.
I figure Scavenging the Dead's a good one for us too, because it's basically in the same. It's in system, so.
A shakedown flight for the marmoset.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So the I guess I didn't specify what the mission commander, whether the mission commander had to be a ship crew to start off with, or someone else. So seems like it should just be whoever's most qualified. That doesn't necessarily make them the captain of that ship that flies out to Shinobu. It just makes them
one like
mission
overall mission command.
Do you want anyone else helping Lisa? You're looking for people with good social skills, and you've got a handful.
I know Gwen is somewhat sociable, right? Gwen Reed, the ship crew.
Gwen Reed is very sociable.
Taking advantage of my previous knowledge.
Is that a good choice for you? Do you want to send Gwen Reed off to possibly die? I mean, to help with the mission?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I was thinking is that it is described as a mission to a shogunate, which means that they've got a military bias. Sending a guard as Lisa's honor guard, might make a favorable impression. So, who's our most sociable guard?
Well, not Scotty or Amikloa, I'll tell you that much.
Maybe Saul?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like the answer is obvious here. Saul's the one who gets distracted from whatever he's doing to talk to people.
Oh, I forgot that about Saul.
Well, not necessarily distracted. He seems to be paying attention, but he's also chatting up Zoe. I mean, you guys were on Canagiris, expecting an ambush from the general there, and he was chatting up Zoe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Saul's probably the best option.
All right. That is going to end up giving them a +3 on their roll. I will be making the roll after you guys finish this mission, so you won't know what has befallen either of the people that you sent.
Yes, I'll be fine.
+3, and they're looking for a 6. That has a good chance of turning out favorably.
There's a 1 in 36 chance of them dying horribly.
Yeah, that's my take.
There's a very good chance. You guys, you couldn't spend extra anything to help them because they're outside your logistics range. That is the other part of the logistics aura, is if the NPCs are on a mission inside your logistics aura, you can also spend your points to help them. It gives them an extra roll for each level of points you give them.
Oh, so we could take that 136 and make that a hold on.
Gotta be something like 1 in 712.
Or hold on, 36 times 36. Oh gosh. Oh god. 36 times 36. 1,296.
Okay. Either way, you'll probably be fine as is. So, fantastic, and just within our 4 minutes, you guys are going for Scavenging the Dead. Now, before we get to that, I promised Ben I would give him an opportunity to put some of his character on stream. So, Ben, let's start off real quick with oh, I didn't make that clear to you? You'll be fine.
I didn't consent to this.
Let's go ahead and get just a quick kind of rundown of your character. Bearing in mind that maybe your character was more of a newer recruit, and so let's just say that that they've only been out of the chamber for 2 weeks.
The chamber.
So to speak. The memory chamber.
Well, Marcus Snow is a very sociable and outgoing person. He seems to be trying to make everyone smile, get on everyone's good terms, just try to learn everything he can about everyone. Mainly, just try to learn who to, I don't know, talk to maybe get some treats aboard, to get some good snacks. Maybe who have you got to speak to, I don't know, maybe be able to go down, get a ride somewhere, basically. But also he's got a med kit on him and he's got a bio scanner, and every now and again he'll just do a checkup basically on everyone, see how they're doing. And that is like a small little summary of Marcus.
All right, and I believe you picked a question to answer for us.
1 second. Mine was number 8. You learned a lifelong bad habit from your hello self or personal file, and you don't want it back. What was the habit? Well, you see, Marcus has this, I don't know, tendency to maybe scrounge around in the med bay, see what kind of stuff they have available. Never seems to find what he wants though, which is unfortunate for him. But yeah, he's definitely looking for something, but he doesn't know what yet. Yeah, I'll leave it at like that as that for now.
Nosy medic.
Indeed.
All right, I'll let you get away with not explaining what he's looking for, but I do want the second part of that. Does the weight of inevitability hang over him, or is it an unexpected victory? This memory loss.
He's
Sounds like you
happy
kind of
so
already
far.
answered that, but elaborate just a little bit.
I mean, it's one of them. He seems happy so far. He's very upbeat, but I don't know. He's obviously missing something. There's
Okay.
something there that's nagging at him.
Right. I'm content with that. One moment here.
The prosecution rests its case.
No, yeah. All right. You guys are all gathered by Elena onto the marmoset. You know that she's been working tirelessly for the past couple of days to get things prepared, but she's been tight-lipped regarding what what the ship is preparing for. She's called you all over to the bridge this morning, and she's standing in the fairly tight enclosed space of the marmoset's bridge, pacing a little bit back and forth behind the captain's console. If I were to give you a little bit of a visual, that's the door that you've come in, and I think that our bridge is going to look something like an upside down bottle, apparently,
That's a reasonable bridge shape.
with the captain's console over there, and she is, get out of the way, pacing back and forth behind that console. Fantastic pacing, Elena.
The best.
You all come in, trickle in, or do you answer the call quickly?
Marcus, with not much to do, we'll just go on over.
I've had nothing better to do.
Basically. Hello.
Ah,
Low.
Marcus. Take a seat.
We'll just kind of like go up, try and find a seat somewhere.
Yeah, there's
So,
like crash couches along the side.
Don't
These
really
are
get to come up
console
here.
stations.
Oogie arrives, data slab in hand, not really paying attention to where he's going, navigating basically with a hand on the wall, distracted as he is by whatever it is that he's studying on the data pad.
All right. Sounds like Oogie perhaps bumps into the door, as it has one of those slightly jagged interlock mechanisms, and so there's a point that juts out just a few centimeters farther than the wall, clips his shoulder.
Nabbit. He rotates his shoulder and scowls at the door before looking up and paying attention to where he's going as he goes and seats himself next to the other recruits. greets them curtly. Morning. And then goes back to studying his data slab.
I'm gonna move everyone out for just a second.
No!
Oh, I guess I should know that. I don't
Player
have-
agency, don't touch my character icon.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Sid against, I guess, group. And oh, come on. Fine.
Can you delete the other Archibald, because I don't have control of that.
Yes.
Much
There you
better.
go. You are now on top of the chairs. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Elena turns to you. We have first mission to go out.
I guess I'll just be standing off to the side awkwardly.
Oh, sorry. Yes, there are
No,
only
no,
4
it's
crash
fine.
couches. Connor could be in the pilot seat. Would Connor want to be in the pilot seat,
No,
or is he?
it's better for me to be standing off to the side awkwardly.
Okay, perfect. We have first mission. Is not as expected. I'm sorry, Oogie. Is not as important as you've wanted.
Oogie kind of waggles the data slab. Nothing to worry about, Captain. I still got some figuring out to do. A little bit more time. A little bit of a distraction. Take my mind off it for a moment.
Good. This is distraction then. Some pirates scavenging on Primitive Fade have decided not to abide by agreement with Nemesis and clear everything that has been recovered. And they found something that Jai say is dangerous. She brings up a holo display on the captain console, makes sure that it's visible to y'all. And you see that out of focus picture. It looks like somebody took their compad and, as inconspicuously as possible, snapped a picture, trying desperately not to get caught. That looks like the kind of picture that you would snap at a mobsters meeting if you saw Kim Basinger standing around and you wanted a picture of her, but you didn't want to get shot. And that is the best analogy ever. I just want to say.
I'm sure. Or like fingers in the picture and everything.
Yeah, probably. And of course, Apple has started a thing where every picture you take is also a motion picture. So there's that little bit of wobble that's absolutely useless to anything involving that picture. But it's there. And
Kim Basinger, man, you're really dating yourself.
That's fine. We've already determined that I would not be able to have joined one of the games that was posted on the Stars Discord because I'm too old for it. Is imperative that we recover it's contraband now. The system is Raza's system, and pirates must abide by Raza rule.
Do we know how big these things are?
It's about a half-meter long, 2 centimeters diameter.
Oh, so movable. Okay, good.
Is big, but not big. It's easy to find. Risk is if container is broken, then whether container is broken or not, on return, we are to decontaminate and quarantine for 1 week.
Oogie's eyes lit up at the mention of contraband. And then when Elena describes it as decontamination and quarantine, his face falls again.
That's good. It's plenty of time for data slab, if data slab is allowed in quarantine.
Yeah, but I thought you were talking about something valuable that I could add to my list of assets.
You mean the Roz's assets, right?
Roz's assets, my list.
It is valuable, but is not valuable in the way that you can sell.
Well, either way, have the folks smuggling these things jumped system yet? Or are we just gonna hunt them down here?
We are going into the sleeping dogs. Last known coordinates by Cujo.
You say sleeping docks?
Sleeping dogs. The three
Oh,
gas giants are co-orbital and around what's the name of the system? Around Zentra, the sun. And they all have dog names: Juno, Cujo, and I think the other one is Hugo. Sorry, Ben.
I have a bad feeling about Kuja.
But they're just called the Sleeping Dogs, and it's also where the pirates tend to hang out, because if Galactic Mandate ever does come around and tries to take on, a dozen or more ships, they can quickly and easily disappear in the massive atmospheres of the gas giants.
It's good hiding spots.
Mm-hmm. The approach will need to be not scaring them off.
Slow and steady. Oh.
Kind of like finding a needle in a haystack.
With no name of ship, Void Eagle will be easy to identify.
What kind of ship is it?
It's just free merchant. But
Okay.
other ships in Sleeping Dogs is not free merchants.
So we gotta not scare them off. How well known is the marmoset around these parts?
It is known as a Raza ship.
Ah, dang it, so we can't just pose as a buyer.
Yeah.
Or could
Speaking
we?
of-
Would they believe it if we said that Raza wanted to buy their contraband?
As contraband, they were expected to report to Nemesis. Probably not.
Who or what's his nemesis?
Out of character for you. Nemesis is someone that Oogie may not have had a whole lot of interaction with, because she has been fairly busy with
administering.
administering this whole scavenging operations. Something, probably the Raza, set the pirates on this fantastic idea of going back down to this planet that had been scavenged 8 years ago and rescavenging it, seeing if there's anything new that they can find. And because the old crew knows that there are actually extremely dangerous things still hidden down there, very well hidden, but still could be found, they decided to kind of play a middleman, help the pirates find good locations to scavenge, while also trying to catalog and confiscate or buy some of the things that they didn't want the pirates to have. And that's an established procedure that has been going well, but obviously some are going to slip through, and this one scared one of the pirates enough that they sent that picture.
Okay, so Nemesis is a Raza person who oversees this deal.
Yes.
Okay, and so the fact that they did not report it to Nemesis means that they expect Raza not to know about this.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would assume that in some form or another, somebody explains that to Oogie in response to his question.
Yeah,
So
I think
just
so.
what is the pretense here then? Are we going to sneak in, or are we going to approach confidently under some ruse?
That is a good question. I'm looking for suggestions.
First of all, I'm trying to remember. We went with the patrol boat, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
And you should all have access to it. The patrol boats in my system, because of innovations at the primary shipyard until it crashed into the planet, made drive level 2 free. Actually has a little bit more oomph than the default books, or the default ships in the book. It has 2 plasma beams. There. I think you should all be able to see that.
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Well, I think
as I asked the question, I figured it out.
Gotcha.
I think one suggestion could be to just acting confident, like we know everything. It's our system, and that you can't operate without us knowing about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're faster and stronger than them. Do we reckon we know if they have any contacts that'll be aiding and abetting them?
I mean, if they hang out with certain people, I'm sure they might get aid from them. But as for if they traveled with another person, I'm unsure.
If we let on that we know they got these green goo vials, I rather expect somebody's going to get spooked and try to run.
Well, in which case, if they're running, then they don't really have a plan much. At least, I don't think most people do.
Captain, are we to bring this material back intact, or is it acceptable for us to simply destroy it on site?
Destroy is as a last resort.
So if it's on a pirate ship and they are making scarce, if we've got no other recourse, then destroying the pirate ship is an acceptable conclusion to the mission.
Is acceptable but dangerous. Other pirate ships in region might
And
not take so kindly.
That's why I would rather not risk having them run.
Oh, we have boarding tubes there.
I mean, if we latch on to another pirate ship.
Yeah, the PT boat does have boarding tubes.
If we latch on to another pirate ship in the midst of a fleet of other pirate ships, what do you reckon's going to happen to our ship while we're aboard theirs doing our counter-piracy activity?
And it has no reason to stay put. We can always leave after firing the tubes.
I guess it depends on how strong the Raz's authority is in the sector.
Well, evidently not strong enough because they elected to not declare this. If they would have declared it, then they would have respected the authority. So it's either they think they can resell this for something more, or they're unsure what to do with it. Both of which are rather concerning. Do you agree? Why else would they neglect to inform of what they found?
Greed?
Exactly. They think they can get something from it. Therefore, surely they must know there's interest in it. Who would be interested in such a thing?
I don't really even know what it is.
Well, it's
Well-
obviously the last remaining samples of Ecto Cooler.
Oh, I
Ecto
thought it was
what?
Mountain Dew.
Maybe I should call Sunny in. She has had conversation with Mr. Rao about this. He's instructed her on proper decontamination. I'll call her. And Elena does call for Sunny. Join them on the bridge. You guys have a couple minutes to talk if there's any further conversation before she arrives.
So we can't destroy. Well, we can destroy it, but last opportunity to do so. You want it recovering. Do you want to leave an impression upon the other pirates not to do so again? Or do you kind of just want this dealing with and that's it? What's the general purpose here? Do you want to make a statement about this? Make a point? Or would you rather it just be cleaned up?
As he looking across at the other squad members, or does he seem to be directing that to Elena?
Just to the general.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I reckon the Raza doesn't want people flouting its authority.
So we're accepting that in the future others may do the same?
If they get
Understood.
away with it. I mean, if they get away with this, then others will think they can get away with it too. Can't speak to the material in question there.
Problem as I see is this is Raza's system because Raza is doing more for people here than pirates ever done. But pirates don't see that way, and pirates are still valuable infrastructure, valuable deterrent to galactic mandate to investigate.
So you want it dealing with but not upsetting people?
Duh.
Okay, in which case we'll have to try and do this without... Well, I won't say without alerting others, but without drawing undue attention.
Sunny comes in, looks over to Lena, looks at you guys. What's this?
A discussion?
We're a little confused about the material in question.
Green goo or something.
Ah. We got sent on that then. Kill the pirates, destroy the ship.
Oh,
Now,
that's
it's
easy
my
enough.
understanding that you are talking about misunderstood citizens of this solar system. Is that really how Raza wants to treat their neighbors?
They're pirates.
Yeah, I don't reckon there's too much misunderstanding here.
They are businessmen by alternative means.
So are we to inform them that they have some kind of, I'll say, horror aboard that they would be best off handing over
Sunny
lest it
crosses
cause
her
them
arms.
harm itself?
Yeah, I suppose. What's so hard about this? They didn't follow the rules.
Which is the point I'm asking, which is, do we make a big statement about it, or do we just deal with it somewhat nicely?
Elena looks
do we
over
blow
at
them
that.
up and let everyone else know that, hey, they did this, don't do it ever again, otherwise the same will happen to you? Or do we just try to clean this mess up and try not to talk about it?
Or maybe do talk about it. If pirates know what they're holding, maybe be more careful with anything else they try to smuggle.
So inform them and hope to negotiate for them to return it to us to deal with in an appropriate manner.
From Sunny now. Look, it's a zombie virus. Why are we
Hey, sorry, what?
a zombie virus?
I think
Expand.
somebody's been watching too many scary movies.
Yeah, please expand upon what you mean by
Yeah.
zombie. As in, it raises people from the dead. They go in a drugged state.
Now
Can you
who's been
please-
watching too much Hollow Video? No,
Can you please expand upon that one? That one's a little bit, wild.
it attacks the brain sensor in a manner similar but more refined than rabies. You're familiar with rabies, right?
Oh yes, after a certain amount of time, if it being incubated, it'll emerge, and as such, you'll become hydrophobic, and you won't be able to drink any water, and you'll eventually die.
Yeah, this doesn't do that. This just attacks the brain center, makes a living person hostile, except against other infected, and keeps them alive for hundreds of years, starving and dying and never dying,
Sounds dreadful.
like zombies.
So what's the
Like
bet
from the
that one of
Hollow-Bits.
them has already opened up this container, has maybe got infected, and is been trying to hide it? As such, we must sow dissent among them, explain that, hey, maybe someone's mishandled it, maybe he's acting strangely. As such, we can take this thing off them and maybe help them deal with that person. They may not be infected at all, but it would help, just sell the story.
Fine, anybody gets a tear in their vac suit going straight to medbay.
I will make sure to not do so.
How many of them armored vac suits?
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah, we do. Sorry, that should have actually come from Elena. Elena simply says, "Da." Is all wrecked
Duh.
and set.
I also presume that pretty much any of our characters have had the opportunity to train in vac suits.
Yeah.
Well, I see two options. We can go in there and try to attack and board them, or we can converse and explain the situation and hope they come to their senses. If they don't, we merely put the idea into their head that, look, maybe you should be suspicious of those aboard that maybe handled it, as they could be exposed to it and will be a threat upon their ship, whereupon they could lose their ship. And I'm sure a pirate does not want to lose their ship.
Now, what if we spend all this time talking about this just to find out that a ship's already full of zombies?
In which case, we know which action to take. It cannot be spread.
If it's already full of zombies and we can prove it, I don't think even the most hardened pirate would object to us doing the needful.
Which is to send it straight into the sun, so it does not spread anywhere else. Because if you were
Is
to
ship
explode it,
irrecoverable?
preferably to set its reactor to blow. That would be most beneficial.
Well, that does seem a little bit wasteful of a whole ship,
Well,
though.
Doctor,
Yeah, if you can get the ship to set the reactor to blow, we're dealing with a free merchant here. You'd have run into the entire crew by then.
Doctor,
Oh,
I've got a clarifying question for you. Let's just suppose that there had been a catastrophic exposure of this material, and the entire crew has been converted by this this substance into zombies.
Yes.
How safe could the ship be made subsequently with decontamination? Would there be any risk of lingering contamination that might affect later residents of said vessel?
Sonny gets into a little bit of science and meta-science here. The gist of which is that it would take some effort to decontaminate the ship, burn everything out, do whatever needs to be done, but it would be less than the cost of a free merchant. Considerably less, like fraction of it. It would just be time and a little bit of money.
It's in worst case, that's how they don't need to blow the ship
Sonny's
up.
familiar with the actual details of the virus. I believe it's transmitted in the typical zombie virus way of actually needing contact with, saliva, so bodily fluids in general, not like aerosol or anything that could actually stick to surface. It'd be a good idea to decontaminate it just in case, but it's not a significant concern.
I mean,
this
would
one
you
is
take the
transmitted
risk, though?
by contact with the fluid. So it's a little bit more extreme than just by zombie bites and scratch or injection, but it's not aerosolized, you're right. Sorry, Ben, good.
So it'd be akin to touching acid. You don't want to do it at all.
Yeah.
And yes, in which case I think
I
we know
say
where
having
everyone
handled
stands.
boiling acid with my bare hands like a lunatic.
So we try to engage if there is someone to engage with. If not, we try to ascertain the situation, see if they have been overrun by zombies, and if so, we then decide upon which route we take, whether we look to scavenge the ship if possible, in which case we would have to board it, or simply blow it up.
Yep.
Are we all in agreement, or at least understanding?
I think I'm on the same page.
Sounds like a good plan to me. Only, are we really going to call them zombies? Seriously, I mean, I don't know if I can take this whole matter seriously if we're going to call them zombies.
What about biologically mutated,
What do we
though?
call them? Walkers, biters.
All right, screw all
Does
y'all.
that help?
Zombies, whatever.
So yes, in which case,
Infected.
let me go grab a couple of things and I'll be ready to go.
We'll depart in 30 minutes.
Shit, I ain't got my stuff. Be right back.
And Elena walks back around the captain's console, gets in front of it, and actually does captainy stuff for a minute.
Clearly having waited for the last possible minute to set up to get ready for the mission.
Oh, nothing says eventful first mission than dealing with zombies? At least this place is interesting. Yeah. I didn't think I'd be signing up for stuff like this. Dealing with pirates, sure. But zombies?
Yeah, pirate zombies. So we need
Yeah, it's like a combination of them as well. That's
right.
weird.
So we need I'm pretty certain we need some robot ninjas.
You shouldn't say such things, as that will, the universe will find a way to make it true.
I mean, robot ninjas would be pretty cool, though.
Would it, though, especially if you're not aware they're to come? I mean, you never know. I could be one. I'll just kind of stare at him.
You could be a robot ninja and maybe even you wouldn't know it.
That's true.
True.
We have forgotten everything.
Actually, yeah. Maybe this is all a plot. Maybe we're all robot ninjas, and this is simply a training simulation for us.
Yeah, well, I'm a robot
Maybe
ninja.
we have to deal with a planet
They
overrun with
didn't.
these zombies, and this is our training simulation on how to deal and manage with it.
I feel like I'm a little too old to be a robot ninja. I can't imagine
See,
they
that's how you
program.
blend in, though.
I can't imagine they'd program in the joint pain.
That's what they like to call verisimilitude.
Yeah, that's like, realistic. That's what they strive for. That's when they know they've made a good robot ninja. When it believes itself to be, a little bit...
Something other.
Exactly. I mean, we can find out if you want. All it would take is, a little lie down, anesthesia, and we'll just cut you right open and find out what's on the inside.
Wait, didn't they wipe your memories? You sure you remember how to be a doctor?
I'm sure I'll pick it up.
It's very reassuring, Doctor. In any case, I gotta go remember how to squeeze myself into a vac suit.
Oh yeah. That is going to be fun. Well, let us wait. Anyone
I'm not
have any
waiting,
last minute, I don't know, things they want to gather in anticipation? Things they need?
Yeah, out of character, I just remembered that I've got 700 credits that I was supposed to spend on relevant equipment and never got around to it.
Oh, no.
Luckily,
For what it's worth,
hold on. The good news is we do have an armory and a ship's locker on this thing.
yeah, so it's really not important. Just whatever you need that's TL4 or lower, you can grab.
Maybe at least buy some secure clothing to wear.
Okay, I do have secure clothing. But I'm looking at my talents and skills here, and it's like, what does my character need to fight? I don't know, maybe some boxing gloves?
Knuckle dusters.
Actually, I should probably get some secure clothing just to, pack away and, so I can be presentable while somewhat being safe. Or something.
Nobody's trusting Oogie with a gun.
Oogie's got a gun.
No! Don't give Oogie a gun. It's a bad idea.
Why? You just pull the trigger and stuff comes out.
Yeah, but it's the direction in which the stuff comes out that matters.
Nah, it's fine.
Alright, y'all go gather your things and meet back up on the ship. Elena's got all the crew at stations and ready to fire off. She gives you a minute to strap into the crash couches. Given that this is a fairly short trip, she well, short meaning, let's see, 48. Okay, so it's going to be a 24-hour trip. So she doesn't have you strap into the crash couches. She tells you that once we get into the sleeping dogs, sets yellow alert and have you come up to crash couches just to be cautious.
You keep saying crash couches. What are these?
Crash couches, couch you sit on right there. There's a seat.
In case you crash.
Oh, you mean it literally? I thought it was like a name for something else.
Yeah, you sit in it and you strap into it. Good and secure.
Right.
Nothing flies at you and hits you in the head.
Right, okay.
Also, is armored vac suit in the locked compartment just above. Questionable that compartment is above couch, but I've checked the locking mechanisms 3 times and is secure.
I'll take your word for it.
And the ship engines rumble and lifts off from Kamiago, leaving behind a very rapidly developing and growing dry sun as the name of the city, not the sun. And you are on your way to the Sleeping Dogs, where there are at any point anywhere between 1 and 3 dozen pirate ships chilling. It's, as mentioned, this is where they go for just as a kind of neutral place, because there are enough of them, and because gas giants are amazing for hiding signatures that Galactic Mandate might want to hold on to track a pirate ship. It's a very popular place. Every now and again, it even has a kind of a food truck kind of ship. But it goes off and does its own thing most of the time. Yes.
So we need to find the free merchant.
I've got a semi-rules question here for you, Dexter. So I've got the connected focus, and it says that if you've spent at least a week in a not entirely hostile location, how granular are locations? Is the fact that we are still in the Zenthra system, are we in location where I've been for the last week, or no?
It's as granular as it needs to be, and that's kind of a cop-out answer. But getting more to the question that I think that you're angling towards, or the information I think you're angling towards, if you think that Oogie would have been interacting with the pirates in any meaningful way, then I don't mind letting you use the focus in that population.
Okay, and I think he would. Like I said, he's largely of the opinion that they are businessmen by other means. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, consider where he comes from and the people that he's worked with. Pirates, robber barons, there's no real difference.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, he would at the very least be talking to them. They would be commercial contacts as far as he's concerned.
Let's see. And I mean, he's theoretically, as long as his personnel file wasn't a lie, he's lived on Kamiago all his life.
Correct. In fact, I was even trying to figure out whether or not he's been in space before. Whether his old master would have included him in off-planet deals or not.
That's up to you. Off-planet deals aren't common. Most of what happens on Kamiago stays on Kamiago. And it's pirates occasionally coming down to planet with some trade goods, mostly weapons and slaves, and leaving with whatever credits the
spice.
Yeah.
Right. That works. And you also mentioned that this is a month or two into our time as agents, so he's probably been off planet at least once or twice in that time, so this is not completely novel to him.
Okay. Yeah, that's all fine.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Guess I don't need to be Lena. So, you've got a day of travel on this ship. Is there anything anyone wants to get into? Anything anyone wants to do, converse about, or do you just want to get to the location after some bedroom contemplation? Not what it sounds like.
Bedroom contemplation, huh? What does that sound like?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, sure. No, I think I'm good.
All right. We are going to have one scene here. Partly because I need to fill some time. This is not the mission I prepped for. Um, and
What?
partly because we're still catching up, Ben, on some Session 0 stuff, so I want some kind of interaction between Marcus Snow and one of the other NPCs here.
The ones along the top.
Actually, know what? I want Marcus to follow Oogie around.
Okay, I absolutely will accept another PC as well.
So,
I
what
was
are you
about
doing
to
there?
actually need a very short break here. I will be back in a moment, so maybe pick one of the NPCs, if
All
you
right.
would, please.
Yeah.
Okay, in which case, what NPC can I choose?
Sunny is the medic.
I'll go annoy Sonny.
Okay.
And Sunny's one that neither me nor Jai really know anything about.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Sonny. How are you doing?
Sunny gives a side eye over to Marcus. There's nothing here for you. She is in medbay at the moment.
What do you mean there's nothing here for me? You're here, aren't you?
Whoa.
she gives a tight-lipped grin, frown.
How do you know what I'm looking for? Maybe I've just not found it yet.
Because I know that when you got assigned to the ship, we also got 2 cases of detox.
I don't know what you're on about. Can't possibly be me. I mean, what's that used for?
She softens a little. Alright.
You know, it's been like 2 weeks, right? Getting really angsty here.
There it is.
I mean, you know, we're going to face zombies. I mean, zombies of all things. Maybe a little pick-me-up, you know? Just one for the road. Maybe, have you ever tried giving it to a zombie? Maybe it'll help. Maybe I could try for you. What do you think? Good science experiment, no?
Wait, you think it might be a
I
preventative
mean, if you think
vaccine?
their brain is getting eaten right, and with this it'll just set it alight again, and we can see what it does.
It would
Maybe it
focus
fights
you.
within itself. See? Just think what these ideas would be like if you give me more.
Sit down.
I sit down.
She goes over to the medicine cabinet and does ship surgeon medbay things. About a minute of her arranging and putting something into a syringe. Comes back over. Okay, nobody can know about this.
Do I have to take it now, or can I save it for later?
Nope, you're taking it now.
Really? What about my idea? Can I take one for the road, to try? It's a great idea. You know you want to find out.
I'll
You've
put
never
some in
done
a
it
tab
before.
for you.
Say that again, sorry.
I'll put some in a tab for you.
Oh, thank you.
Here.
He just smiles.
I just need to make sure you don't react badly to it.
Don't worry, I've tried it all before.
Not
And if
Jai's
it's coming
brand.
from you, it'll be, probably the best I've had.
She gets to his shoulder and expertly jabs him.
Well, on for the road, right?
I'll put it into
Yeah.
a tab for you. Come on back in an hour.
Okay. He's kind of like sighs a little bit and then just walks outside.
Alrighty.
Not do drugs, kids.
Did you get my message there?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Is Tulair back? I think he might not be back yet.
One A.
I'm gonna quickly go through a bathroom break. 1 second.
Oh, and he just got back.
Womp womp.
Right?
I drink a lot of coffee. Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. And we might.
Dexter's just enabling people.
Maybe. So, while we have a moment while Ben's away, this may be a short session. I'm going to, so a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. My plan with all this is I've written down for every single one of these missions about as much as you see. The only extra detail that I've got initially is that I know what the actual numerical rewards are intended to be and what the numbers on those risks are. My plan is that once you guys have selected something, then I'll start filling in all the extra details, the NPCs, the names, the things that will help me to improv through it. But I am trying something a little bit different from what I've done in the past, in that I'm going to rely a lot more on improv than I usually do. A little bit of a control freak about how much I prep in the past. So, breaking those tendencies, I got myself a little bit off track. But what that means for this session today is we're going to go as far as I can get with the content that I know that this mission is. It is, all of these missions are intended that they could take 4 sessions. So you should probably, as players, not expect to fly out to a ship, say a few things, and be done. Although I won't rule out that possibility.
If things go well.
As characters, we expect that that's what's going to happen.
Yes.
As players, understanding the narrative structure here, we know that that's just the first act.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Well put.
We're currently in the prologue.
Yeah. And so
Once we get to the ship, it's Act 1.
And since I don't have as many other details as would be truly beneficial for me to make it more than a quick in and out, I may need to pull us out early, which is fine. It may happen every once in a while. I don't think people will complain about it too much.
GM,
No
to your
worries.
level of comfort, and I'm also going to take this moment to note, because you're probably being circumspect and not saying it, I bet it would have helped you if we had made a decision about what mission we were going to do before this session started.
Absolutely. I'm not doing a total 180 from one mission to another.
It would have. I did do the extra prep for Daddy Warbucks. I thought that's where you were going.
Can't make their mind
Because that was the only one that anybody explicitly mentioned.
I think I mentioned a couple.
There were some. It was the one that got the most conversation, that seemed to have the most interest. And I didn't want to push you guys, so I am being circumspect, but I also don't want to put any blame on you guys and say you're making me a bad GM.
No, I think in the future we'll have to be a bit more proactive with that.
Yeah, if we don't choose something at the end of a mission, then I will put a hard deadline on, guys, I need this information. Generally, I will tell you I need the information before my Monday starts, because my work schedule has me in the office 2 days a week, Mondays and Fridays, and I work in a place that has me on a train for an hour. That's my primo prep time. Each way, by the way. So.
Gross.
Incidentally,
Hate
Ben,
commuting.
you mentioned how your character, not knowing the score here, would be cautious about jumping into anything. We also should be aware that these are not decisions that our characters are making. These are command level decisions that Dexter is allowing us to make on behalf of our characters.
Yeah.
Just so that way we, the players, have authority over where this story goes.
I mean, it's a mix of both, though. Because it's like, I know a bit about LaRue because I played in one of these campaigns previously, but I don't know what's transpired since, and as such, it's half and half.
Yeah.
Like half because I don't know what the current situation is. I only know from my last recollection of it.
I suspect this one didn't go quite the same on the LaRue front.
Yeah. Given that one of the PCs is actually Zoe this time, it did play out differently from the campaign you were in.
Yeah.
All right. So I believe that Marcus was going to spend some time in conversation with Oogie, or is that past now that he's gotten a little bit of a fix?
No, I think he's still perfect for Oogie.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So,
Kill some time for me.
Max is just going to be like walking along, trying to find Oogie, and when he sees him with his compad out, he's just going to sneak up behind him. Well, not so much sneak, but just like walk up behind him.
Oogie is not paying that much attention, and so when Marcus kind of creeps up behind him, when he notices him, he practically fumbles the data slab. Oh, criminy! You trying to give me a heart attack?
No. Usually the reverse, actually.
Oh, right, because you're a medic.
Kind of nods. Well, that's what they
Well, what can I do you for?
Well, I'm curious what you're doing. You're going around accounting things, right?
Yeah, more or less. The state of Roz's finances are questionable, and I'm hoping to make heads or tails of them so that if it ever comes time that we need to make an alliance of a financial nature, that we'll actually have a credible balance sheet.
So you're trying to inventory the entire ship to find out how much things are worth and know how much.
Not
they're
so
on
much
board?
an inventory of the ship, more like a study of the ledgers of the entire organization.
So why are you walking around the ship in circles at times?
Well, because I think better when I'm walking.
In which case, let's start walking. Where are we going? Or just anywhere?
Boogie removes his straw hat, scratches behind his head. Well, I didn't exactly have a destination in mind, just
In which case, let's
kinda
go this way. And I'll just pick a random direction.
pacing the hall. All right. Puts his hat back on and trails after Ben. He's not used to people being both gregarious and friendly. You know, the folks that he's used to dealing with, the gregarious ones think very poorly of him because he was a serf. So he just kind of falls back into that pattern and
So what have you found so far?
standing 2 paces behind Ben.
Oh, you're following me now. How weird this feels. So, what have you found so far? Anything interesting? Of import?
So I'm actually going to rely a little bit on Dexter to help me out here because I was winging it as far as Oogie's consternation about the state of Raza's finances.
Yeah, anything you need to know.
So what assets does Raza have?
Raza?
Yeah, Raza's assets are largely just a small handful of ships, not even a half dozen. You got the Marmoset, you got the Ice Ferret, And I believe they had one other. Oh, my grandfather's axe.
Oh, my grandfather's axe.
Yes. So, Raza has 3 ships.
That's delightful.
In addition to the Raza. The Raza is actually a ship in its own. And the Raza as a ship is quite a beast. It's a fleet cruiser, and it was, through parts of this sector's history, an absolute terror for the Megacorps.
The real fun of it is that it's a cruiser with the atmospheric configuration.
Yes.
So it's a cruiser that can land on a planet.
Mm-hmm. It is the
Okay.
largest ship that anyone in this squad has ever seen planetside, and it's sitting there on its struts just fine. I think they're called struts.
And then, as far as the system goes, you've got Kamiego, and you said that it does little to no commerce beyond its own, beyond planet side.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got Trinity Fade, which I know has something to do with the alien Trin, but I don't know.
So
I didn't quite get an understanding of what their deal was.
So Trinity Fade is the homeworld of the Trin, but about 9 years ago now, the planet suffered a environmental catastrophe. Within a matter of minutes, all the oxygen in the atmosphere somehow turned into argon. It is called the Skies Argon event. A name that Trin actually dislike because it's a pun on their suffering. They went from 3 billion people to I think I put it at something like 11 million when they finally accepted Perimeter's assistance to evacuate them. It was just such a sudden event that even their best efforts to make oxygen and mask people up weren't able to save but a small fraction of the population, and those efforts were not sustainable given whatever was happening to the atmosphere. So this all happened 9 years ago. The Trin were reverse decimated. I think it's actually even worse than that. Probably 1 in 100 survived that event. And transplanted onto another planet in a different system, basically given that planet and given ownership and government over that planet with Perimeter's help. Raza has some Trin kind of just acting in the organization, and the Trin tell it very differently. They actually blame Perimeter for the catastrophe and for delaying their response until there were almost none of them left, and then coming to a public humanitarian aid and putting them down on a planet that was also trying to kill them.
Yeah.
Okay. That is enough for me to, more than enough for me to base Oogie's answer on. But yeah, thank you for the reminder of the history of the sector.
Yeah, let me put one more thing for you. The Trin on Trinity Fade were disliked by the sector in general, back when they lived there, because their science did not hold to the same ethical standards as most people. They would actually volunteer for human testing as part of kind of a civil-minded duty, and some of their work got very close to Maltech. That's what there's a risk of these pirates digging up.
Yeah, the green goo.
Okay.
Close to? I'm pretty sure that is Maltech at that point.
No,
right?
that's true. The Raza at one point had missiles that could actually destroy a planet. So yes, the Trin have made Maltech. There's no question about it.
Very useful. I'm so upset you made me destroy them. There were so many situations when they would have been just perfect.
A planet cracker. I like
There you
it.
go. And that's the end of my exposition for you.
Okay.
The really sad part is that I got to keep the zombies in, which has like no legitimate uses.
Right. I'm pretty much sure we just kind of forgot about that because really the missiles are just so much more dramatic that we just kind of forgot about the zombie juice.
Like that zombie juice.
And Ben, your character is Marcus, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Oogie replies to Marcus. He says, "Well, as far as I can see, Raza's got a fair amount of military force and the goodwill of some very important people. But as far as saleable assets that would make it a credible business interest or a viable government, it ain't got nothing. And that means that around here, the warlords on the planet and the pirates in space are about the only trading partners we might have locally. We've got to command some of these resources if we're going to be taken seriously by anybody else in this sector."
So we need to become the pirate leaders. Simple. I like your
Well,
idea there.
pirate leaders or legitimate businessmen of some sort doesn't really matter to me.
Oh, so you're saying all the stuff comes through us now, and then we sell what we want, and then give them a percentage. As
Well,
such, we become the fence for them.
that would be ideal. If we could become the brokers, the gateway to Xanthra, through which all commerce in this system must pass, that would be the catbird's seat.
And do you think the Raz would be okay with this?
As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really matter if the Raza are okay with it, if they want to survive as a going interest and not just as a military outfit. They're gonna have to.
Interesting. Good to know.
And I see they just got done scrambling up your brain not too long ago. You've been at this less time than I have. How you adjusting?
I don't know yet. I'm not really feeling anything right now, which is concerning. It kind of looks confused and it's just like looking around. Yeah, I feel normal right now. I'm annoyed. Sorry, what was you talking about? You mentioned something.
Yeah, the fella you used to be and the fella you are now.
Yes.
How are you acclimatizing?
I mean, I don't know, because I have no way to compare against previous expectation and performance. I can only speak as the person I am now, and the wants and needs of me now. So I would say, well, albeit disappointed right now. Betrayed.
Oogie takes off his hat and he kind of holds it against his chest and goes, "I feel that, brother. The fella I used to be, he wasn't thinking about the fella I was gonna be."
No, I just need to look for the fella I want to be and feel.
Well, that's a common story. I think everybody here says they were looking for a chance to start over. I don't reckon you volunteer to have your brain blended unless you got something in your past you regret.
Well, I don't think I had so much regret, but so much of a Hail Mary? A fuck it, let's see kind of deal? A kind of, can we fix this? I don't know. It's weird. I'll figure it out.
Well, yeah, I think we all are. The alternative is you don't figure it out, and well, then where are you?
Starting from scratch, I suppose, but with just the middle part cut out. Yeah, it's going to be bizarre. Know what I'm looking forward to? The first time I see someone, and they recognize me, and I don't recognize them. And I have to make a judgment call, thinking, am I friendly to you? Are we best friends? Or did I piss on your, I don't know, table?
Well, I suppose I got the advantage of you there. Listening to the letter that I left for myself before I went through with this ordeal, it sounds like if somebody recognizes me, odds are pretty damn good they don't like me.
But that's most unfortunate. I didn't get that warning myself, so that's a good sign. Either that or my previous self thought it'd be very funny to see what would happen for this exact situation. I wonder if they would know that I would think this as well. And as such,
Well, that's a hell of a prank to play on oneself.
I know.
I'ma go get my brain erased for the lulls.
I don't think it was for that, but that would certainly be funny for them, but not me. I think. I don't know. Or would it be not funny because I wouldn't find it funny? Well, this is most bizarre.
That is a philosophical question for the ages.
I'm sure I'll eventually get an answer to that, but for now we'll just say, who knows?
I'll drink to that.
You drink? Oh, that's most unfortunate. I mean, did you always drink? Is that why you came to this place? And drinking
Just a
is-
figure of speech, buddy.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, that's very bad for your health, Drinking can do much, much harm to the liver in the long term.
So we got a note from Dexter here in Roll20 that it's a small ship, and we've just been kind of like wandering in a circuit around the corridors that probably everybody is privy to this conversation at this point.
Fine by me.
Yeah, the old ship, the last campaign, that was a very large ship, so it didn't really come up all that much. But nope, this is a frigate-sized ship. It's a patrol boat. They're lean and mean.
Did someone say drinks?
At this point, Max will kind of look at his combat. It's been 25 minutes. I'm just going to go pop in here. You carry on doing you for a bit, okay?
Boogie holds up his data slab and says, "Yes, there's plenty of that to go around."
Yeah, and Hugo's just going to go back to the med bay.
Hugo.
And scene.
You're slipping, Ben.
What do you mean slipping?
He said Hugo's gonna go back to the med bay.
I know. You won't ever fix that. That's always going to come up.
I made him change his name.
When you use a character's name for 3 years, it takes a little bit of time to change.
Yep. Just so that we move on. Medbay is closed and locked, and nobody is inside. Your medbay on the ship is a small 2-bed affair, situated near enough to each other that 2 people in those beds could literally reach across and put a hand on each other's shoulders. There's barely enough space between them for someone to stand between them and operate, and they're already almost to the side of either the opposite wall on each. So
Max is going to go to his room and sulk then.
Are the beds in medbay, are they bolted down?
They are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In my setting, everything is bolted down. I pay lip service to the actual science of things flying around in space, as far as everything being bolted down, but I don't generally bring it up, except perhaps as a crisis or some kind of event. But I don't make you go around and say, and I lock this tool down, and I lock this tool down.
Oh, no, no, no. It was more like I wanted to know if somebody could push the beds together if they wanted to do more than touch shoulders.
Nope, they absolutely could not.
Unless you put a trolley between it and put a blanket. Anyway, carry on.
All right. After some time, you are approaching the sleeping dogs. You're starting to see pirate ships blipping up on the sensors. They're of course not running transponders because why would they here? So this is the first coming into this region. This is the first that you're seeing them. And what kind of approach do you want to make? How do you want to approach this?
Firstly, do we see a free merchant-sized vessel?
You've only. I'm kind of catching you out before you actually enter the region and become exposed and visible to all
Okay.
of them. I want to give you the chance to decide if you're trying to come in quietly so that nobody sees you, or if you're just kind of going in as if nothing's wrong, or if maybe you're just shooting this first ship that you see, for reasons unknown to me.
Marcus would vote for just to come in casually. Just like, just popping by.
Lie casual.
Yeah. I'm also going to put out there that any of your characters that are perhaps more observant have noticed at least 0, better even if it's at 1.
That'd
Would
be me.
Hmm?
So that'd be me.
Okay.
Carry
Uh,
on.
Elena is seems to be a little uncertain of herself in this. Up to you whether your characters know this or not. It is Elena's first time actually captaining a ship. She's been in charge of large parts of a ship before, but she's never been the person in charge. And she has been looking to you guys. Archibald would have noticed that she has been paying very close attention to your opinions on matters going forward.
Well, yeah, I say just casually. What's everyone else's thoughts? Anyone else want to go in guns blazing or try to sneak on in as if we're pirates ourselves?
We are kind of pirates,
Are
but
we? Is that the impression we want to make? And if it's the one you want to make, then it's a valid option.
We're not pirates, but we are fellow citizens of the Zenthra system.
Okay.
They've as much right to be here as we do,
Exactly.
and vice versa.
I agree.
Out of character rules, or not rules question, setting question for you, Dexter. Is there a station out here?
There is no station.
Okay, so the pirates that hang around here are just kind of floating around in proximity to one another aboard their own ships.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like a gathering. Okay.
The Redneck Yacht Club.
Fueling is done either by people with fuel scoops, or by kind of knowing a pirate ship that is willing to sell you fuel. They're actually set up to dump it into detachable containers instead of just directly into their ship, or to scoop it into detachable containers. This is
You
not
mean they're not out there with like siphons stealing gas from each other's gas tanks?
Big long hoses.
Man, you gotta hate being the guy who's got to get out and suck on the hose to start the siphon.
I know, exactly. I just put your thumb over it. So, that's...
So am I
so,
hearing that you guys go in
I
casual?
Anyone else wish to go loud and proud, or maybe Sneaky, stealthy? I will
I mean,
take.
I know a couple of these guys, from Planet Side, from, just chatting them up the last couple of weeks. Not saying they can be trusted, but, I might be able to ask around and, see who's come in recently.
And do they know you're affiliated with Araza, and as such they wouldn't be opposed to us having the transponder on? Or would you prefer it to be off so they don't know?
Well, I mean, they know who I am. I've not made much of a secret of it. It's kind of hard, given where I was calling them from, but...
So casual may be the option then.
Thing is, I don't want these pirates to distrust Raza. I feel like they're some of our best bet for establishing legitimacy in this sector.
So do you wish our actions to be known or unknown?
I vote for known.
Okay, so casual or loud and proud?
Oh, definitely casual.
Okay. Anyone else opposed to going in casually?
He got no objections.
In which case, let us just go on as if it's another day. We're just paying some visits to some people, wanting to find out some information, which is factually correct.
All right. You proceed further into the sleeping dogs, and your screens, your sensors light up with the presence of other ships that you've detected, that your sensors have detected. They may have caught sight of you, and you're not doing anything to necessarily hide your presence, but I am making an assumption here that, like all of them, you're also not necessarily broadcasting your transponder.
I'll say sure.
When in Rome.
Do as the Romans do.
Yeah. Now we are at 1 o'clock, and so this would be our normal break time. Seems like a good kind of pausing point to me. Would anybody
Indeed, if
disagree?
you want to pause.
All right, so why don't we take a quick 14-minute break? Come on back at 1:15, or whatever that is in your time.
Yep, I'm good. Whenever.
Come on back at 15 after. That's an easier way of saying that. Bring us back. Okay. As you drift into the sleeping dogs, you your comms ping that or alert you that you've been pinged by ships. Just part of normal. Hey, there's a ship flying through. Who are they? Kind of sensor checks. Nothing invasive. Nothing trying to learn anything more about you than just drive signature and why isn't their transponder on? And are they galactic mandate? You're drifting through the black amidst 17 ships of various makes, mostly free merchants, but there's also a couple of bulk freighters, patrol boats, and corvettes.
This is maybe a dumb question, but I never really thought about this before in terms of like identifying ships in space. We're at such a distance that without a transponder, we're not going to know anything, right? Like all we're getting is like hull characteristics from passive scans.
Right. You could try to identify them with passive scans. At a difficulty, you would be relying on drive signatures and basic ship features that could be picked up by sensors. You can also do what some of them are doing and actively scan, but they have the advantage of they're only actively scanning one ship. You would be actively scanning 17 ships, and that might set off some alerts.
So we can obviously disregard the larger ships. So it'd be mainly for the smaller hull sizes what we're after. What does that narrow our scope to?
10 free merchants.
Lovely. What a 1 in 10 chance. Did the free merchant that was doing this, do we know what weaponry they used at all?
They were stock free merchant, and so it's again not exactly the book. Let me give you a quick look at it.
So yeah, actually, a follow-up question on that. We got this grainy photograph of the ooze in the vials, and we knew that it was aboard a free merchant. How did we know that? Was there a message of any kind included with the photograph, or what gave us that information?
The comm headers, the message headers included the ship identification. And did not include the actual sender. So basically just a communication from the ship as the ship.
What was the ship identification?
The ship identification is Void Eagle, VE627. Type that out for you. So you know the name of the ship that you're looking for. That doesn't help you unless you can identify that ship with passive scans. Sorry, let me backtrack on that. That does help you because it allows you to come here with knowledge of what drive signature you're looking for, but you still have to be able to get that information from scans.
So, you mentioned you might be able to, pull a favor or two. I see 10 ships in us.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. I was kind of hoping there'd be a station out here that we could stop in and maybe I could say hello. As it is, all I can see is that maybe we'll have to broadcast a message, and that doesn't seem like the safest idea.
Or do we have anything we wish to buy or sell? Because if we do, we could, maybe put it into conversation that we're looking to talk to these people and try and work it from there.
Well, as I told you earlier, we don't have anything to sell, and our budget is limited, but I do have a few credits to my name that I could dedicate to the cause. What is it that we might expect to buy out here that would be useful and that we could plausibly be here to buy?
Drugs are always a thing that, people of these sorts will carry and trade amongst themselves.
All right, that sounds...
I mean, it'd be good to have something aboard to help, replenish our stock.
For what it's worth, Deck, check me if I'm wrong here, but I assume Oogie has been on, and Solera, you as well. Check me if I'm wrong here. You have been down on Camiego for at least a little bit post wake up, right?
Yes.
Right. So Dex, check me if I'm wrong here, but just something like water would be something that's really possible to buy, or at least get people out here who'd be willing to sell for Camiego, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Ever since Dry Sun started actually buying water, mined by various visitors and mostly pirates to the system, um, other cities on Kamiego have started doing the same. So there's a small and inconsistent trade in water. Pirates don't always want to be taken doing such menial labor. If they did, they would just go get a job with the Union. But they'll do it occasionally.
It's a reliable sort of side gig you can do if you have to be in the system anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
By the way,
I figured that would be something we knew about.
Yeah, that would be something that my character would have known about, would have come up in conversation with, I mean, practically anybody doing business with Kamiego. So yeah, I am going to take advantage of the fact that I have made some connections, and I suppose we do still have to do like a wideband broadcast. I guess I should also ask, what's the going rate on water?
I really don't know.
Guessing just treat it as like a trade good.
It is hard to really transfer the idea of those like simpler commodities to the normal pricing scheme for this.
One other thing for you to consider is you don't actually have cargo space.
Yeah,
on
we
your
don't
ship.
have cargo space, so we're
Yeah.
doing this as like a basically filling up the
Placing an order for them to
the
deliver.
galley.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to broadcast a message that amounts to I'm gonna include my name because that that would be essential to my connections recognizing me. Mention that we discussed the possibility of water contracts, and I was out here to place an advance order.
Okay. And are you using your connected focus to call on that NPC in some way at this point, or are you just kind of flying by to see what this broadcast does for you?
Just trying to get my contacts to respond to me at this point. The favor is going to come later.
Okay. Question, on your character sheet, you have all the settings at the top open. Do you want it left that way?
I don't understand what you're telling me about.
So, do you have your character sheet open right now?
I do, yes.
Okay, so there's the homebrew options, the character options, general settings. Do you see all that at the very top?
Yes?
Okay. Do you want that there, or would you like to see that gone?
It doesn't matter to me. I can scroll up and down, so not a problem.
Bam.
There it is. It's gone.
I just didn't want to close it if you were using it for something or had it open for a particular reason. All
Just
right.
I'm making some notes here as well because I'm the recorder and I wasn't doing a very good job during the pure roleplay scenes.
No worries. Yeah. All right. So you broadcast out a message, and the content of which is basically, sorry, I may have gotten myself distracted a little bit at that point in your instruction. Basically, looking for some kind of ice supplying contract, right?
Or just like a delivery, a one-off top-up.
No, I would be proposing this as a contract because in fact in Ugi's mind, if he can actually negotiate a contract with a pirate while he's out here to get regular water deliveries to Dry Sun, that's going to be advantageous to all involved.
Okay.
Little side benefit to the mission.
Okay. Well, Oogie gets a handful of responses. Armstrong over on comms looks over at Oogie, and these are the ships that have responded, sir. They step aside. Armstrong is, by the way, pronouns they and them. They step aside and have highlighted on the display which ships have responded. Void Eagle is not on that list, but you do have 5 ships there that you could filter through, that you could work through, and you recognize one of those ships as the ship that your contact, that one of the people you know very well, not your contact, but one of the people that you've known very well and connected with is on that ship.
Okay, we're going to contact that ship then.
All right. Armstrong asks, "What do you want me to do about these, sir?"
Let them know that we are negotiating with one of their colleagues, and that if those negotiations do not prove fruitful, then we will contact them presently.
AKA put them on hold.
Yes,
Hold,
sir.
please.
And at this point, Elena speaks up. "Armstrong, Oogie is not sir to you. You are sir to Oogie." And Armstrong responds to Elena, "Yes, sir." And looks at Oogie with, they respond to Elena with "Yes, sir." And they look to Oogie with a mixture of uncertainty and uncertainty on their face.
Hearing this exchange, Oogie rolls his eyes and says, "Would you please relay that message to the other ships, sir?"
Yes, private.
These command lines are getting weird.
And Armstrong does, in the background, go about relaying a fairly concise message, concise and direct, to the extent of, "Thank you for your interest. We are considering it. We will contact you later." It's not the most diplomatic or friendly.
Yeah, this is a very familiar situation.
When has
What?
there been a diplomatic or friendly deck on tasting? Other than Eddie.
And yeah, the person that you know. I've got the name of the person, unless you had a name in mind. Do you want to name the ship that they're on?
Let's see here. A good pirate named ship.
I'd like to say it's the Void Eagle.
It's not the Void Eagle.
Let's call the ship the
Pink Panther.
the fuck off.
I thought we were trying not to get Dexter demonetized.
Yeah.
You're trying not to get
Yeah.
Dexter demonetized.
Yeah, we're not all on the same page here.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to make it subtle, we call it the Foxtrot Oscar.
Yeah, that works for me.
Acceptable.
All right. Foxtrot Oscar it is.
So when we upgrade, we call our next ship the Foo Bar.
No, that could be the ship that we're totally gonna get.
No, we call
on
our
this
ship
mission.
PPP.
Yeah.
Because proper playing prevents piss poor performance.
Nice. I mean, I was rather pleased to learn that we also have an ice ferret. So now we have marmoset and ice ferret. Apparently, our naming scheme is just naming our ships after cute mammals.
Clarify, the Ice Ferret is not actually the name of the ship.
Oh,
It's just I could never remember the actual name of the ship and kept
Wasn't
calling
it
it that.
No, it was the leaping ferret, wasn't it?
I
Was
can't
that the
remember
original
if the
name?
leaping ferret is the original name or the name you guys gave it.
No, I'm pretty sure Ice Ferret is the name we gave it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I remember naming it repeatedly after some battle mech, and I'm pretty sure Ice Ferret is the battle mech.
Oh, that's right. That is, yeah.
I did not do that on purpose. It's just I kept doing it.
You kept hearing ferret, and that's what you thought.
Yeah.
The ice ferret and the marmoset, and the next one can be. Let's see here.
It depends on how big it is.
I was going to say, if we get a capital ship, we can name that the capybara. But I mean, nothing less than a capital ship is worthy of the name.
Right. I say if we hit another patrol boat, we can call that like a kit fox or something. I'm gonna keep my battle mech naming scheme, so.
The sugar glider.
Yeah, that works too.
All right, so Caden Kennedy has reached out from Foxtrot Oscar.
Yeah, is this the part where we just go ahead and ask him about the Void Eagle?
And
no.
he starts the conversation with, hey, yeah, I've just gotten promoted to the captain of Foxtrot Oscar.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Kennedy.
Well, when your captain overdoses, that's what happens. Jump him out the airlock.
Such a shame. What did he overdose on?
Tsunami.
You,
I think he was still going when he got shoved out the airlock.
Did you manage to find his stash? I mean, wouldn't want anyone else to get addicted to that, would you?
Oogie,
Or go out from the
what's
same fate?
the pleasure of this call?
Oh, yeah, sorry,
Oogie
sorry.
nudges Marcus off the screen. Well, I've got a business proposition for you. Maybe not the most exciting line of work, but lucrative and not too difficult. You and your fellas, I understand, have got the means to provide ice to my fellows on Camiego, and I was hoping that I might, upon behalf of Raza, negotiate a deal with you and your crew.
Well, could be kind of rocky right now, with the whole captain upset. But I think some paying work would be good for the boys right now. They might not want to do it, but it'll be good for them.
And there's nothing saying it's forever. There's nothing saying that you can't do other things while you're at it. Just a little side gig, to make sure that that the folks whom I represent always have something cool and frosty to drink.
Asteroid ice is frosty?
It's the frostiest around.
Well,
and bright blue and delicious once you filter out the hydrocarbons.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
Which is to say, it's right at home on Camiego.
Sure got, well, I don't have to tell you. It's a shit life down there. Yeah. Come on over. We'll work something out.
We are prepared to purchase, and I don't actually know what numbers would be reasonable here, but gonna make some offer in terms of trade goods. 200 units of ice per week, and we hope to pay, well, just a skosh under the nominal price for ordering in bulk. Got a lot of thirsty people.
200 units, and is pretty much thinking in terms of tonnage. He starts working it out. Sounds like about 2 trips. Take about 2 weeks. One over. We'll drink on it.
I'm going to bring over a senior representative of Raza who is going to help me firm up the negotiations. And he winks at Elena.
Oh, Elena looks over. Ah. And we'll make sure all the numbers are in order.
Gotta tap my foot. Like, well, we gonna get to asking about the Void Eagle now? Maybe not over comms.
Yeah, that's about it for Caden at this point. Caden gives coordinates and transmits over docking instructions. Mostly just a way for the ships to do their own auto docking at that point once you're close enough. And says he'll see you in a minute, and you guys can talk about the Void Eagle without him listening in.
Well, that was, negotiated well. Just need to find out the information now.
I mean, I reckon it's all right for a trade deal, but
We are getting there. I don't want them to get spooked. If we
Okay,
start
that's fine.
asking
Look,
questions about things we're not supposed to know about before we are in, we're going to lose the opportunity.
I mean, you can just simply say that you heard, the Void Eagle made a trip as of late, and you just want to. You heard good things.
or when we have friends on board. I'm just trying to figure out. I do actually have the bounty hunter focus, and I'm trying to think of how to actually apply that. It does seem like a focus suited to this, but I think it's more. I think the original incentive is more like on the ground.
No, I did intend
But
for it to be useful
yeah,
in space pursuit, not pursuit,
yeah,
but space bounty hunting also.
yeah. But here we'll say Archibald's still trying to figure it out because his knowledge is just like on the ground on Camiego. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Well,
mulling over how to apply that that knowledge here.
if you don't mind me going a little bit mechanical for a second, I'll say that if Archibald also joins this negotiation and for drinks on the Foxtrot Oscar, it's entirely possible that you would get enough information over the course of any kind of basically information gathering session, however subtly or non-subtly you do it, to actually put the bounty hunter focus to use.
Okay.
Yeah, but you need more
I'll
information than you currently have. Is I think
yeah.
what I'm saying mechanically.
I need to get into a position where I can actually have casual, perhaps more casual conversation, yeah, or more than just one person over the comms.
And I've had plenty of screen time here, so I mean, at this point, if we want to make the negotiation over water a back channel thing where I just make a connector, or a trade roll, and if you want to take over the conversation as the info gathering, that would be delightful to me.
That sounds fine to me. Why don't we take this in a couple of stages? I see a couple of opportunities for relevant roles here. And I think, well, let's narrate a little bit. So, the Marmoset, Connor, is that the name? Yes. Connor McCoy, in the pilot seat over there, navigates the marmoset over to Foxtrot Oscar, and then either manually docks or lets the autopilot just take over and make the connection. Uh, it's generally considered polite to let the autopilot do it. Um, just seems like I don't know, that seems like space etiquette to me. Um, and the little inflatable
Etiquette.
the little inflatable tube is extended between the ships, locks at a midway point between the two ships, and you don't have to deploy the boarding tubes, which I heard you mention earlier, Lulu. I don't think boarding tubes are something that shoot out from the ship. I believe it's also a docked to the ship thing. It's just that you can dock to any point on the ship and not just try to cut your way through an airlock.
I thought they were launch pods.
No,
It's
they're
it still necessitates the target ship to be disabled anyways. So it's kind of the same difference.
It is kind of
Okay.
the same mechanical difference, yeah. But for fiction, I've seen them see it as your ship clamps onto the other ship, and a armored tube extends with laser cutters and literally cuts a hole. It's kind of like oh, you haven't seen the Matrix. Never mind. I'm just assuming you
Parts
haven't.
of the original Matrix. I've never watched the other one.
Yeah, I don't think it was in the first. It was in Zion. But anyways,
It's boarding tubes, not boarding pods.
Okay.
uh,
It actually extends from our ship.
Okay. So the
Boarding
reason
pods would suck so much. You shoot your Marines at the target ship, they dodge, your Marines just fly off into the void.
Yeah,
Have you
I
seen
think
the
that's
expanse?
why
We've
you'd
had
want to
that
put like
discussion before.
you'd want to put like what is the thing?
some kind of propulsion.
Maneuvering thing or some
Maneuvering
propulsion on it
jets.
anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
have you seen the Expanse though? Because that literally happens.
Still haven't seen the expanse.
Yeah,
So
no,
it's a very aggressive escape pod, is what I'm hearing.
I get what you're thinking, but I am for my fiction, it is tubes.
Well, and also in the book, it's tubes.
Yeah,
Tubes.
that's it.
Tubular, dude. Tubular.
So-
I think the reason I thought it was pods is because they make reference to send your crew across empty space.
Yeah,
It's not a dump truck. It's a series of tubes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
that's enough talk about the internet.
Bad Tulair. All right, I'm making a quick. Oh, that was a little bit too quick. Oscar box for you. And I will ask. This is your first experience with me doing this as a GM. I want anyone who is going over to the Foxtrot to just put your token into the new box.
Poggers.
So right now I've only got Marcus and Oogie.
Yep.
There we go. There's Archibald. And you also wanted to take Elena, I believe.
I mean, if Elena actually wants to come, I said that, but I don't actually know how far Oogie's authority to negotiate contracts actually goes.
Elena actually delegates that to Armstrong.
Okay.
She
I don't know if that's better or worse.
she steps aside from Armstrong and makes certain that Armstrong is not within hearing, but tells the three of you that Armstrong is. Hang on. Armstrong is not best with people. Just keep them on numbers.
Mixter Armstrong has got a mind for numbers, and that's what we need.
Armstrong is very good with numbers. Duh.
The kind of person you want him to handle a contract.
But may need to also rush Armstrong along. Sometimes it's too involved in detail. as captain of Marmoset, Oogie, I authorize you as commander of this away mission.
Thank you, Captain.
And Elena
I'll be
does say
rather
that loud enough
proud.
for Armstrong to hear. Armstrong looks over and says, "Yes, sirs."
And I suppose we would all have some knowledge of each other's capabilities and expertise, right? Like that would just be included in our training.
Yeah, I think so.
Then here's the plan. Armstrong, you and me, we're going to maintain this pretense of being over there to buy ice. And if we get lucky, we will actually buy some ice, which will do Raza some good. Marcus, I would like you, please, to assess their medical capabilities. If you think there's an opportunity there, either in terms of licit or illicit substances that could be of benefit to us.
Yeah, don't you worry. I'll get to the bottom of it.
And Archibald, I understand you know a thing or two about finding people.
Grunt.
Grunt.
Did you just say grunt?
Well, I mean, he grunts.
Okay.
I am emoting verbally.
It was a very understated grunt. I was expecting more like a barbaric yawp.
Yeah, sorry, no. I could have handled that better.
Well, then we will leave you to your devices. If you can chat with the other pirates and find out where the Void Eagle is and how we might find them, that would be supremely advantageous.
Will do.
All right, the four of you are welcomed over to Foxtrot Oscar. As a free merchant ship, they're not a military ship. They are not as constrained in space as your patrol boat, despite being about the same size. A little bit bigger, just because the patrol boat is trying to keep a slim profile as a military ship. But it feels spacious in here compared to the last 24 hours you've been flying towards this region of space. They got a galley with tables that aren't touching elbows, and chairs, and they've even got some highly dangerous if they were to suddenly need to take off, but just some tin mugs sitting around, some of which still have pissy looking water in them. Probably beer.
There's so much room for activities.
And Caden walks you in there with a couple other folks sitting around, and just kind of one of them just laying back and sleeping in the corner, and another is playing the same three notes over and over again on a guitar.
We only have 3 strings.
Nope, it looks
Only
like the
knows how to play
guitar's...
Wonderwall.
Playing hot cross buns. Hot cross buns.
You're gonna have to link that one. I'm not familiar with it either.
Ah,
You're not familiar, hold on, you're not familiar with fucking hot cross buns?
It's like the first song. Did you ever play a recorder in school?
Hot cross buns, Dex.
Nope, I am not a musical.
Dun 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 dun. That.
It's like the absolute most basic song ever that can be played with 3 notes.
Nope, I'm
on
not.
A recorder by a 5-year-old.
You know what?
Yes,
Despite
by a 5-year-old.
Lulu's exquisite performance, I'm still not recalling it. You're just gonna have to
Wow.
link it.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But for the sake of the scene, yes, he is playing hot cross buns, and he's doing it on only 3 notes.
Well,
He
good. 'Cause that's all
has
that
all
you
the
need in the song.
strings. Oh, the song only has 3 notes?
Yes.
So he's playing it.
Oh,
No.
okay. He's still managing to play it poorly.
That tracks.
After a moment, someone else comes in and sits along with you guys, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and have Oogie and Armstrong basically working with Caden while Archibald, sorry, 2 other people came in to sit with y'all, while Archibald and Marcus Snow can get into a little bit of cross chatter. So first off, Oogie, I'm understanding the point of Oogie talking to him is still, well, talking to this group really. It's all cross chatters. It's still more about making kind of create. I'm trying not to use the word in the skill name in this description, but I'm gonna have to. Making connections here. He's trying to feel out and solidify some friendships. Am I reading that right?
I mean, I used my connections to get us here, and if my input is needed to employ my focus, to call in that favor to find the Void Eagle, I will. But mostly Oogie is just now at this point negotiating a fair trade deal. He's not looking for huge advantage here. He's looking to keep them talking and create a smoke screen for his people to ferret out the information we're actually here to find.
Okay. I still think that that's going to be a connect roll, and so I am going to ask you to roll connect with either charisma or intelligence, depending on how you think he's projecting in this conversation.
He's mostly trying to put them at ease, so I'm going to go with charisma.
Okay.
And so connect. Hold on, I got to get my character sheet up here. We've got connect at +1 and charisma at +1, so it's a total of +2. So 2d6 +2, is that right?
Yes.
You can also just click on the skill name and it'll roll it for you.
Oh, will it now?
Oh yes, that
and
also.
it make it look all fancy.
It does.
So it's okay. So it says ask. I select charisma.
Mhm.
And then
no modifier. Don't do anything with the modifier. Just leave it. It should default to 0. Just go ahead and leave that as is.
Yeah,
Look
that's
at
like
that fanciness.
conditional modifiers. Like if you're on drugs or something.
Exactly.
Yes.
my check result was a 10.
Fantastic. Okay. Yeah. Uki is able to keep conversation focused on task while also keeping it casual and kind of also navigating Armstrong away from the more direct, nearly confrontational insistence on getting minute details.
Like, who's going to do the filtering? To what degree will you give us?
Those are some of the questions that Armstrong has probably asked or tried to ask.
Yeah.
And Archibald and Snow, you guys are trying to kind of infuse this conversation or almost infiltrate this conversation with somehow getting information on the Void Eagle. How do you think you can approach that? Oogie's set the stage for you, These folks are friendly and not particularly suspicious.
I'll just. So, have you heard of any ships as of late? Have any good hauls? I know there's been quite a bit of activity as of late.
Yeah, everyone. This is not Caden. This is side conversation. Everyone's benefiting from Roz's direction here. It's been fantastic.
I mean, I would hope so. It's good for everyone. It'd be a shame if anyone were to abuse that. I mean, after all that work that went into it.
Nobody would. That'd be dumb.
You think that, but come on now. You always get the one or two idiots that spoil the fun for everyone.
I know that.
One.
Yeah, we're pirates, but come on.
One bad apple spoils the bunch, even amongst pirates.
I mean, okay. If you could think of one person that would spoil it for everyone, who'd you put your money on?
Well, Eugene, the guy that you're talking to right now, barked a quick laugh and points at the girl that has the woman that has joined the table with you. Madison ruins everything. Don't you, dear?
Really now?
Typical Madison. No, just
Come
kidding.
on,
I don't
Madison,
know you
spill
Madison.
the
I'm
beans.
sorry.
I mean,
Why?
really, just listen to her name. So basic.
He's just angry because I won't open my legs for him.
Oh. I mean, that kind of changes the direction of the conversation there.
A little bit.
Yes.
I
mean-
reckon that's but we're thinking more along the sides of other ships, other crews.
Yeah, there's been mumblings of, maybe everyone's not declaring everything they find, and, just a little bit disappointing is all.
I hadn't heard anything about that.
I mean, did you hear about, can you tell me what happened to the previous captain, though? I heard he was, on drugs or something.
Oh, but yeah, it's a little bit more than what Caden told you. It's Captain mixed some red bones with some tsunami, and that was some bad stuff.
Where did he get it from?
So, quick info dump for you here.
I need to notice on Marcus.
Red bones is a drug produced on Camiego.
Oh, how nice. Local.
I suppose
Nothing
I should
smells or
also
tastes like home.
post this one.
Yeah. I mean, Marcus should be aware that a Jai can make all sorts of drugs.
Yes, probably. This is also a drug that's available on Camiega. Very, very similar to a drug we all are at least aware of.
Drink like weed down there.
How does it get the name Red Bones? Let's see here. Oh, well, there you go.
Yep. And a lot of there's a lot of work in clay and all that on Camiego, so red from the clay.
Well, it's terrible to hear what happened.
It was most of this crew are still a little bit shook about it, but yeah, he was shooting on. We're just lucky it was only a void carbine, and he emptied his clip in into the vending machine.
So I would like to I just kind of out of character here though, but I want to try driving the conversation towards, or I guess get a read on if they're like, oh, we aren't snitches, or if hey, maybe they are snitches about ruining the whole Zenthra thing.
Okay.
Or the whole try to fade thing with Thraza. Get their read on that before we name drop the Void Eagle.
Why don't you go ahead and give me a wisdom notice check?
All right. That's the part I'm good at. Hopefully. Yeah.
The Eugene is an open book. Eugene seems to more or less truly believe that, or at least has his convictions that nobody's trying to ruin this. But there are little hitches and little hesitations in after he's said that each time. Just a little bit of a trailing off and a pause.
Yeah, like no one needs to do that. You know?
Except for, that thing that I heard of. But it keeps. So yeah, I keep that to myself. So not really wanting to openly snitch, which we are. I guess we are openly representing the Raza here, so that kind of makes sense. We're basically the narcos.
Anyway, back to the proper topic here. Where did he get them drugs from?
Ben, you've got to do a little bit of your own volume control.
Oh yeah. So but where did they get them drugs from?
Oh well.
And kind of like leans in.
Redbones is just.
No. I know that, but tsunami.
Oh yeah, that's just pharmacies on that planet there.
Oh, you got it off planet. Interesting. Okay. Good to know. I'm just gonna he's just kind of like fidgeting at this point.
Okay. I want to take us out of character just a little bit here, because I don't want to get too bogged down in a casual conversation over the table with pirates. And you've gotten a read. You've gotten them in a comfortable state with you. You've gotten a read on them, and they, at least to Archibald, trying not to just flat out tell you. But is Archibald actually good at reading people? Would you say, or is he just more of a?
I would say he's definitely more. I mean, he's good at He's not necessarily good at talking to people, but he's pretty good at reading people.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay. So I'll give you this. You decide how much of it Archibald is able to kind of insight out. the room seems more on the side of genuinely not thinking none of them would risk it, but having doubts. Doesn't seem so much like there's doubts about any particular person or ship. Just they know they're pirates, and while they claim they have a code and generally do, there's also generally bands of opportunists whose main restraint is that the wrong opportunities taken are incredibly risky given their station.
So, out of curiosity, have there been any talks as of late of any big finds that people are trying to offload?
So if you don't mind, Ben, let me keep it out of character for just a minute, because this feels to me like a half hour or longer conversation over drinks, as opposed to kind of a 5 minutes in and direct questioning. Unless you guys disagree and you just want to go a direct route with characters. That
No, Marcus
sounds.
is pretty chill.
I'm sorry?
Marcus is pretty chill about it.
Okay. Ben, just out of curiosity, do you use a microphone or a headset?
Microphone.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm just talking quietly now.
Yeah. I may have to try and constrain you into a range if I can figure out how to do that. Because sometimes you lean forward and you're really loud.
Indeed, I do. Sometimes I'm like back in the chair, sometimes I'm at the actual desk.
Yeah, honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons that I've just hesitated on getting a better microphone, is the volume variance with distance. I'm not always sitting in the same spot. Anyways, that was a little bit of a tangent. So, it sounds to me like Archibald and Marcus Snow could try and massage this conversation in the direction of getting more information in a more subtle manner or in as direct a manner as they want. I don't want to carry that conversation in character with these NPCs. So why don't you tell me what approach you want to take and what skills you think would apply to that approach?
Well, the bounty hunter focus for one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking that I'm just there trying to, like, hey, look, I'm a cool guy. You can talk to me. Nothing to worry about. Come on, tell me about some of your hauls you've had in the past.
Yeah, I'm certainly fine with letting Marcus do most of the talking. So I guess it's whether I'll leave that up to Marcus, and I'll just be collating the information as the bounty hunter.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, as usual. If it sounds kind of like from your previous direct questions, Marcus wants to keep needling about someone possibly having broken this pact. Is that kind of the right direction?
Once he realized they weren't going to give it up so easily, then he was going to go like the more indirect, like, oh, come on. Like, how have you been finding things as of late? Tell me about your latest trips down. What did you find? Anything good? Try and get them to indulge themselves and tell a tale.
Actually, here's kind of an idea is if I'm assuming we know the names of some of the pirate ships in the area, right? Like if you just give them kind of like a list and include that name in it, and see if there's any reaction to that particular name.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I heard so and so.
So I guess really we're not really trying to confirm whether they have broken this, because we're really just trying to locate the ship.
Yeah, that's.
So I feel like that's kind of like the wrong track.
Yeah, let me, as a
I'm just
GM, remind you for
it, basically.
I'm sorry,
so
go ahead.
Also, Max is wanting to confirm it, so that way a ship isn't getting fucked over by another pirate ship.
I mean, ultimately, what we're trying to do is to get somebody to point us in the Void Eagle's direction without us having to make it so obvious that we're looking for them.
Yeah. And I'm also curious to make sure it is actually the Void Eagle and not someone else just trying to set him up.
Okay.
Because all we got was a weird ass video with a header of a ship name. That's correct, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It is correct. Theoretically, someone could have forged that header. So, that's not entirely off the table.
be a little bit weird though. Like,
Not
what's
really,
the
if it's
motive?
competition and if they didn't want to share.
If you're trying to do this without arousing the suspicion that you're out here acting as narcos, and you're trying to keep up appearances that you really did just come out for some ice harvesting, but while we're
I mean,
here,
Max
let's
is
get
also
it.
here for, his reason as well. That's, I mean, that's why I
Okay,
gave him a board. But that's how
fantastic.
he's weaving that into the conversation as well.
Okay, so is Marcus then? I guess where I was going with that is they invite you guys to kind of have a slumber party, more or less. They invite you to stay for evening meal and play darts because they've actually got a dartboard, a luxury that Elena removed from your ship.
Here's what you could have had.
I would definitely say I play darts.
Okay, so this is turning into an over the evening kind of conversation, and you've got a lot more latitude in trying to investigate and get specific information. So here, I think I'm going to switch to a. I know this is kind of killing you, Tulare, but I did warn you I like mechanics.
Mechanics.
It's not killing me. I had my good role play screen time. I'm content to listen for the next 45 minutes if that's what I need to do.
Okay, all right. Well, I didn't mean that it was killing you about the screen time. I was meant to killing you because I'm about to talk numbers here.
Okay, Armstrong.
So, this is going to be kind of a laddered situation. Um, Over the course of your conversations this evening, we're going to start you off with one question on the riding on the wings of your previous successes. So you can ask me one question that you think they'll know the answer to across the whole crew of the ship, because you're now becoming acquainted with all of them, and I will answer that for you. It is information that you guys will have gotten from them in some subtle way. So what is a question? What is the first question you would like answered? I'm going to give you a time limit here. I don't want you to spend more than 5 minutes out of character on this first question.
Well,
I mean, the main
Max
thing.
is going to I'll say abstain from this one. I'll let others choose for this one.
I mean, I would think the location of the Void Eagle.
Or maybe, if that is too direct, then potentially locations in which pirates like to frequent. If asking straight up is too direct.
Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about literal questions or.
Basically just a piece of information. And Miankin, I'm gonna kind of guide a little bit. With your focus, you don't need the exact location of the Void Eagle. You just need enough information for you to be able to say, okay, it's over there. And we'll make that work in the fiction. So that is a question. Where is the Void Eagle is a question you could ask, but it's also something that you don't need to ask.
I'll be able to put it together.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think that's kind of one of the things, like, is where you can kind of like put together disparate pieces of information to determine a location of the target.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like maybe like, where do people kind of hang out? Where do they go to trade and barter goods? And that way you'll be able to get a lead from there potentially without asking correctly.
I guess to see also if there's any sort of like greater organization or like any sort of like lead pirate kind of thing, right? Or someone that's, I guess, an influential pirate's information about that, because that's useful information for the Raza too.
Okay. So, is there a kind of de facto leadership figure amongst the pirates? Is that what you want to ask?
Something like that, or just particularly influential pirates.
Okay. Yes, it turns out that a Xander would love this. A female pirate by the name of Red Wren has
Nice.
has carved a new niche for herself among the pirates, where before they were very disparate. They were not organized in any way except that they would unify in defense of each other if a threat came, if Galactic Mandate came around and actually pushed on trying to take a pirate out. They would show a force so that it was no longer a viable option for Galactic Mandate.
Like a collection of city-states.
Like a collection of city-states. They never needed or wanted anyone who would kind of stand above them, but with this new power dynamic, with the Raza and Dry Sun becoming a shining example on Kamiego, there's been a little bit of discontent, and she has capitalized on that. Red Wren is a leadership authority figure that most of the pirates here will listen to. Fall in line behind if she were to rally them.
And did you say that she had made that transition on discontent with the Raza situation?
Not specifically on discontent, but on the shift of the power dynamic. There's now a actual central power and authority. Yeah, I'm gonna type it out for you also there, American.
Cool.
In the area where there was none before, and so I think discontent was maybe the wrong word. Maybe more like unease, because they're feeling threatened, and she's capitalizing on that.
A force to encourage them to cooperate a little more closely.
Here's how I've got it written up in my notes. Red Wren has established herself in a position of leadership among the pirates during the uncertainty accompanying the shift in power dynamic in the Zenthra system.
Yes, that's better than what I'm typing.
That is pretty well paraphrased.
Yeah.
I think.
Alright, let me hang it. There you go.
Well, that doesn't help us if it's not in the Discord.
Here we
chat.
go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad to be of service.
If I may tangent for one more moment, would you like a player notes channel that ostensibly just contains these little pieces of information that you want to be readily accessible and easily searched?
Nah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm fine with just having the discussion channel, because as long as it's typed up there, the Discord search function is pretty good.
It is pretty good, and as long as you keep all these in discussion, that way, you can search just this one channel by just being in that channel and hitting Control F, and it's a little bit more easily searched. Cool. All right, that is one piece of information that you did not have before. You also find out that Madison is pretty good at darts. And unless you've got anybody up there with a good shoot skill.
Oh, you mean like me? The
Okay.
sniper?
Madison is
I would like to put that to the test.
putting up a challenge, yeah. Go ahead and roll your shoot.
Yeah. Let's see if I'm having an off day. I shoot with strength.
Oh.
Okay, she's pretty good at darts, but only barely.
You guys are pretty evenly matched. That's not enough for me to say that there's been a conclusive victor. But everyone else has more or less fallen away from trying to play against or with you two. It's just not a contest at this point. All right. Do you have any other questions that any pointed specific questions that you want to get information about?
Well, I want to know where, like, obviously, pirates will frequent a place after going somewhere. Is there a place they, like, if you get a good score, or if you've just generally come back from a score, is there a place they like to frequent?
I'm gonna give you this one as a freebie, because it's not particularly helpful to you. It is the Sleeping Dogs, and when the nuclear burrito is in system, there's more congregation around nuclear burrito. That is the
Is that
food
like
truck.
I was gonna say it's basically a food truck, isn't it?
It is.
Amazing. A space pirate food truck. I love it.
So that one's a freebie. No rolls necessary for that. Got them for the whole evening.
All right. I have a question. Oogie has a question.
Okay.
And I think that this is going to be potentially useful in finding our quarry, but also potentially just a profit opportunity for Oogie or for Raza, or both. Both is good. And I am actually going to use my connected favor.
Okay.
To ask this question, and that is who is hot stuff. And okay, I should also point out, I am intentionally ditching Armstrong when I'm seeking out the answer to this question.
Okay.
Both because Oogie does not want Armstrong to hear this question, but also because it gives him better credibility among the pirates if he doesn't have his established Raza babysitter.
That's okay,
looming
because
over.
Armstrong.
It's probably really easy to ditch her or ditch them.
Yeah, Armstrong is very uncomfortable here and has asked for permission once you've gotten over the contract stuff to return to the Marmoset.
Okay, good. That's great. So, leveraging my contacts, the fact that what was the person's name? Caden Kennedy kind of knows that I'm relatively new to Raza, and the fact that I'm holding this question in kind of a secretive way. I am asking who among the pirates is hot stuff right now in terms of bringing up stuff from Trinidad Fade.
Okay.
And I'm kind of hinting that I'm looking for a little bit of side business that I could engage in my spare time, as it were. But
Okay.
Like I'm looking to score a deal.
Okay. This would be either a trade or connect roll. And this definitely sounds like charisma to me.
All right.
Unless you want to make an argument for another attribute.
Well, I think he was trading his focus, essentially.
That's right. No, I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah.
I'm using
sorry.
my connected favor for this question.
Yes. So this line of inquiry over the course of several minutes, certainly, possibly half hour, an hour, of Hemin and Han and feinting and jabbing, as it were, into unknown territory. How are they going to react, and approaching the subject carefully. This favor essentially gives Archibald enough information to use that bounty hunter focus. In addition, that's not all you get from this. In addition, you find out that actually, Captain Joel Dawson on the Void Eagle is running a side business. This is not the first time that they've done this. Now, the person you're talking to doesn't specifically know that the Void Eagle has done anything now, but if it's implied, then there's no argument, and they may even infer during the conversation, oh, what did the Void Eagle do now? And they are cautious because they know that you're, part of the Raza, but they also know you. Sorry, I keep saying that you're, this person. It's Caden. But Caden also knows Oogie, and has shared memories of Oogie that Oogie doesn't know.
So here's an important question then.
Mhm.
Does Oogie know that Caden knows Oogie from before?
I don't think Oogie does know that, and I'm gonna ask
Okay.
you to tell me one of the things that Caden tells Oogie about that Oogie doesn't know. Give me a story from Oogie's past that involves Caden. Oogie's forgotten.
Oogie partied too hard one time while he was on a delegation. Spent all of his allowance before his time was up, and ended up having to gamble to so that he'd have money for food and lodging. And Caden was at the card table.
Okay, this is something Oogie is having to try and follow along with as Caden is laughing about that time when.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does sound like something I used to do. I'm a reformed man. I party in moderation, as one does after one turns 30. I'm not the spring chicken I used to be.
And yeah.
And having said that, he hefts his beer and he drains it in one go. And he goes, "Fortunately, you're only serving water aboard this ship."
That brings a raucous round of laughter and a playful accusation against Kennedy to, serve us the real stuff, and hard liquor is brought out.
Nice.
In all this, Captain Joel Dawson is in charge of the smuggling, and First Mate Billy Hamilton is basically his goon squad.
First mate with a name like Billy. That's a name that'll get you picked on as a pirate. Oi, what's your name, Gov? Billy.
They have also recently brought on more crew, and seems that they're ramping up their scavenging and salvaging operations. You can, at some point tonight, cross-check this with Armstrong, who reports no increase in the Void Eagle's fines.
They're embezzling, basically. Which I don't really know if that's actually embezzling in this case,
So
but
they're just not paying their taxes, is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oogie would, when Oogie cross-checks that with Armstrong, though, he's going to be circumspect about it, because the whole idea here is Oogie's, Oogie's background means that he recognizes this is just a businessman who doesn't like the terms of business that he's been given.
Mm-hmm.
And the contract is only as good as you can enforce it to be.
Yeah.
The enforcers.
It is not difficult at all to get this to get that bit of detail from Armstrong without in any way making them suspicious. That is depending on how easy Oogie thought it would be, it is 10 times easier than that.
Mr. Armstrong, I do appreciate it. This is useful information in our pursuit.
Yes, sir. Is there anything else? And you hear Elena in the background. You're back on ship. Elena suddenly turned. I don't even know what accent that was. Basically, Elena
Irish,
yells at
half
Armstrong
Irish.
that Armstrong is back on ship and that Oogie is no longer sir.
Armstrong does not do so well without a rigid command structure.
Sir, yes, sir.
This situation has been difficult for Armstrong to navigate.
That's a learning experience.
All right.
Yep.
So that was just the result of your connected focus. You guys still can ask questions of the situation and narrate them into the fiction. If there's anything else you want to know, either about the mission you're on or about any specific specific interests. Hint, hint,
Someone
Ben.
wanted to, perchance, I don't know, sample some of the other local delicacies. You know, where might one look for such things?
Yes. Go ahead and give me a. Well, what skill check do you think is appropriate here? We've got connect or talk. I would allow either.
I'll use talk.
Okay.
I'm just gonna, like, how can I put it? Like more akin to like, okay, now let's get the party started. Let's maybe, oh, I don't know. Actually, no, yeah, no. Mark does not drink. He's, yeah, more akin to. So, is there anything I can partake in? I'm not a fan of alcohol. Do you have any other substances? I
Yeah,
mean, I'm feeling a little bit left out here. I'm sure there's something left over.
sounds like Marcus could perhaps have identified someone who is who shows signs of use in some way, given Marcus's he has his own medical training, and could maybe get them into a more
Exclusive party.
inconspicuous conversation with directed interest. So that's definitely going to be talk, and go ahead and give them a roll.
12.
Wow.
That is certainly a success. And what's the name of this person, you think, Ben? If you're at a loss,
Grigory Tinsky.
all right. Can you type that out for us? Oh, in Discord, please. All right.
This will be on the test.
I hope not, it's just randomly made.
No, it's it's a good name. It sounds like Grigori has some of his own personal stash that he is willing to share with Marcus for a small exchange of credits.
Marcus will just pull up his compad, pull up his banking details, and show his 0 credits balance.
Oh,
Oh, how about this? It always does well to have protection, right? And Marcus will begin stripping off his secure clothing. Yeah, take my clothes. Yeah, they'll do you well. They'll fit. They'll fit.
what the? Oh no, let's keep your clothes on. What do I need
No. Trust me. It's fine. Trust me.
I don't need this, but I have a better idea. Protection. Let me find
Oh,
out.
you want this laser pistol? And he'll pull up a laser pistol.
No,
It's all yours.
slow down. Here, take a quick hit of this. And he does produce some leaf for Marcus to trying to calm the man's nerves a little.
Marcus will partake.
And Grigori works himself around to suggesting that he might provide Marcus with a more than just a sample, and perhaps even a steady stream if he can assure that that he'll get warning should the what'd you name this? Oh, should the Foxtrot Oscar fall onto Roz's radar. He's being a little bit more circumspect. He is specifically trying to prevent himself from getting caught out. And he's basically buying protection, or trying to buy protection from Marcus with the product that he's not supposed to have.
Well, I can't. I can't think of the way I would get word to you, though, is the only downside with this. Which is why I would just prefer a straight-up trade, if you are amicable to that.
I don't need your laser pistol. I don't need your clothes. I don't want your company. Not in that way.
Oh, I wasn't suggesting that. Oh, okay, good.
I mean, you can send mail.
You can.
Yeah, like there's like a whole fancy communications like email system essentially in the sector.
How about this instead? How about if I learn of a particular place that might be fortuitous for you, then you may use that information and pass it along. That way it looks good upon you.
This is an acceptable counteroffer. And he produces a little baggie for Marcus. He's not offering a recurring stream, but depending on just how Just how much Marcus partakes, this could last him up to a week.
He's gonna stow that away.
Okay. Go ahead and call that. We'll say that's about 250 credits worth of leaf.
So I have a related question to these goings on. Not about not my character's question, but how you said they invited us for a slumber party. Are we actually staying the night, or are we going back after the party?
That's more or less up to you. With all the information that you're gathering, without rousing any suspicion at all, you're already pretty late into a day cycle. You started in the morning, and then it was 24 hours to get out here, so you're already past dinner time around this point. You probably got out here maybe 11 o'clock a.m. and you've been at it for about 6, 7, 8 hours. And they have invited you to actually stay over, and they're not offering you bunks or beds or anything. They're basically just offering we're in outer space. Day and night is a concept. Blah blah blah. You can basically just keep on hanging out and partying with us until you have to go back to your own thing.
So one way or another, Oogie's away mission where he's the commanding, the person in charge. He's gonna come back tipsy. Marcus is gonna come back stoned. What's Archibald getting up to?
Archibald's being a responsible adult.
Which is to say, Archibald is boring.
I'm fine with that.
All right, and there's of course the obligatory after a fictional drug deal, don't do drugs, kids.
Yes, exactly.
So Oogie is going to find Archibald wherever Archibald is quite conspicuously not partaking. And he's going to try to explain himself. He's not 3 sheets to the wind. You could tell he's been drinking.
Just like, I didn't even ask you to explain yourself.
Now, Archibald, I want you to understand, and you got to make sure that we get this straight when we talk to the captain, when we go back. This is just all part of the necessary lubrication of this business deal and information gathering. I'm playing a part. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Good talk. And he claps him on the shoulder and then goes back to partying with the pirates.
Shake his head. But still won't report it. It's fine. It's whatever.
All right, and I'm gonna also turn over to well, either Marcus or Archibald. Let me look at Archibald first, actually, after that interaction. Archibald, having gotten information necessary, at least enough information that he thinks he could pull some drive trails and mapping and do all that stuff on our own ship computers, could go back to the marmoset and begin working on that if he wants. He'd cut out of the party early.
Yeah, I think he would. I mean,
Okay.
I don't think there's any reason he would stick around. He is not overly concerned with babysitting the other two.
Okay. All right. So then,
It's just how we do business out here. It's the Kamiego way.
I like to imagine that's just Oogie talking to himself in the middle of the party.
It is just Oogie talking to himself in the middle of the party.
He doesn't even realize that Archibald has actually left by this point. Alright, yeah, Archibald can return and, with or without Armstrong's assistance, start mapping out that trail and find coordinates just outside of Juneau. And then we'll, did you want to have any interaction with Armstrong in that?
I guess it really depends if Armstrong, because I guess I'll be working at the comm station, right?
Yeah, he would.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's to be fine with something. It's like if Armstrong asks what I'm doing, I guess. I don't know if really Armstrong really exhibits curiosity though.
No, Armstrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Archibald would initiate anything. And the only thing I really think of is like if like it was curiosity or something, or maybe if like I guess Armstrong could like be.
Here, I'll set the scene. When Archibald walks up to into the bridge, it's like I said, this is a much smaller ship than the Raza, and so I'm having to get myself used to it too. There's only one screen for comms. It's not like there was, you could do it over here or do it over there. No, and Armstrong is sitting in front of it. Armstrong is just staring at the incoming communications. Not incoming communications, but communication trails that are flying about the system.
How old is Armstrong again, by the way?
Armstrong is. So I don't have that up. I believe Armstrong would appear to be about mid-20s.
Okay. So I'll just like kind of like watch over Armstrong's shoulder for a bit, and it's like, but then eventually kind of like I guess depending on if Armstrong even notices me. I guess probably not, right?
Nope, Armstrong is very focused on that screen.
Okay, yeah. So after watching a couple minutes, I'll kind of like tap Armstrong on the shoulder. Excuse me.
They turn in the chair and look over. Yes.
You mind if I take the console for a bit? I gotta do some mathing.
Armstrong scrunches their eyebrows and yes,
sir.
Permission granted. And they stand up and step to the side of the chair.
All right, and then I'm gonna fumble with it a bit. It's like I don't actually know what I'm doing on this computer. Not like to the point of older guy that's incompetent with technology, but it's like this is an unfamiliar computer.
Right, it is definitely a new computer. There are some standards between ships, but it's still each ship has its own little thing. And Armstrong, recognizing a little bit of fumbling that they also went through in learning the ship, offers some pointers.
Oh, why the hell did they put that on the left? That's supposed to be on the right side.
Yes, it should.
Oh man, you never think those standards. I started. Try almost went Boomhauer there.
Armstrong kind of presents a small little rant about how every ship should be designed in the manner that galactic mandate ships are. They are efficient. Their UI is perfectly placed. Armstrong really likes the internals of galactic mandate ships.
Don't say. Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but that's I can see where you're coming from. I guess.
But it's uniform. Every ship is the same.
I gotta have a little character, just not that button right there. I mean the zoom button. I can only go so far as to say that should be on the right side.
There's no place for character on a military bridge.
There's gotta be some self-expression. Otherwise, what are you? Just a number?
On the bridge, yes.
I guess I should have expected that.
Are you? Sorry, I just got back. Are you doing like a solo NPC thing?
Yeah, just talking to Armstrong about
Yeah.
standardization of ship controls or comm controls.
Armstrong has expressed a great liking for Galactic Mandate ship, system design.
Standardization.
Standardization. They have said the word uniformity and uniform multiple times. And standardized.
Why did we bring fucking Armstrong along again?
I don't remember, but it's fine.
Mm,
This is fine.
is it?
Yes.
Okay. And Archibald, with or without Armstrong's help, is able to navigate these systems and get those coordinates around Juno.
Yes.
I've got one last thing I want to do here before we close out the session, and that is Ben. Why don't you tell us what's happening in that galley right now? Anything unusual? Anything strange?
Just shit's
In the neighborhood.
moving weirdly in the air, just floating around. I don't know. Anything that's not bolted down is just getting thrown at the dartboard.
That's not
Just,
concerning.
weird stuff.
Out of control psychics.
Just
That's on the other ship there, right?
attempting to play darts. Yeah. Let's have a look.
Is Marcus telekinetic? Is that how this
It would
is?
sound like it, yes.
We've got a stoned telekinetic.
Yeah,
stoned telekinetic. Yes.
Yeah, he's doing terrible at darts.
That's not terrible.
He's chucking mugs at a dartboard. You know them metal ones you said weren't bolted down? Yeah, he's chucking them.
The tin mugs, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he's using.
All right. Well, there is an effort among the gosh, I keep forgetting this name. Foxtrot Oscar, the fuck off crew. To
Who's gonna get who demonetized now?
to find out. Okay, who's the psychic? Who's the telekinetic? Some of them are stoned. All of them are some level of drunk. And excuse me. So there's no anger or fear or vitriol in it. It's more of a, all right, who's the telekinetic? Can you throw me?
Wait, did they actually say that aloud?
Yes.
Marcus is just going to look around the room. Oh, not you, not you, not you, not you, not you. I'm going to go through that to every single person. Oh, guess that leaves me.
They want Marcus to do various things.
Party tricks.
Yes.
He will do so.
And we'll go
in
ahead.
exchange for goods and services.
I'll go ahead and close out the session there. I did oops and went a little bit longer than I had wanted to because I wanted to start doing a session feedback at the end of each session. So,
well, now you're not legally allowed to.
Really?
Sorry,
No,
I've only got 4 minutes. I'm sorry.
I put in the forms for it.
We've got 4 minutes. 3 minutes now. You best make use of
All
that
right.
time.
So, any feedback? Any parts of this session that felt? I guess my big things here are: were any parts of the session? Did any parts of the session feel slow, poorly paced? Did I allow too much time for hemming and hawing over missions? Or were there parts that were just kind of dull?
I
This one
won't
was
worry
pretty
about the
well-paced.
missions at all, because that's like part of the onus is on us to figure out what the hell we want to do as a party.
Right, right. I do agree with that, but I think also I'm going to counter with, as a GM, it is my responsibility to not let you just sit there and dither for 15 minutes.
True.
So if it didn't feel like that was too terrible, then good. I know that I had you roll a few rolls, but nobody failed anything, so I don't feel like I don't think anybody would have too many complaints about all the rolls there.
No, the rolls felt normal, appropriate. Nothing excessive at all.
Pretty
Right.
much.
It was a role play heavy session. I think that was good. The number of rolls were certainly appropriate for that type of gameplay.
I mean, I know I'm still fleshing out and learning my character, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, no, no doubt.
Yeah.
I always say that the first level of that character is not complete mechanically and frequently roleplay wise for at least a few sessions. So.
Years.
All right. Well, we'll try and do feedback after each session. I especially want to feel out if anybody rolls a skill check and fails it and doesn't feel like the difficulty should have been so high. If anybody is asked to roll a skill check and don't think that they should have been asked to roll a skill check, or if an idea is dismissed, not dismissed, but declined, or given obstacles, and it didn't feel right. I do want to get into that because I feel like there's important context available that may help alleviate some frustration from those kinds of situations.
No worries.
I'm actually going to ask you a question with regards to pacing, just because I know you have in mind for these missions to take between 4 and 8 sessions, depending on the nature of the mission.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one is a 4-session mission. Did we progress at a rate that you think is appropriate for a short mission?
That is difficult to answer for this mission because I did not have that advanced planning to know, what kind of situation everything is in. All of this was improv. All of this is new information that's now going to be typed into my mission, and so I can't really answer that because the progress you've made here will be inserted as if it was intended for a mission.
Okay. And the reason I ask that is because I observed this was a roleplay heavy session. I feel like we got a lot of useful information, especially if we're talking about like a pure sandbox game. I would consider this to be an unequivocal success. It was a very valuable session for us, I think.
I do agree with that.
Just wanting to make sure that, and again, you admitted already that you didn't have this planned out, but supposing that you had, and you were like, oh no, I expected you to have been on the ship and had your first encounter with the zombie pirates already. It would be useful to know that, just so that we have an understanding of the what you expect or what you're planning for when you pace these out.
Okay, that's a perfect way of framing it. So, I plan for roleplay, and this is another peek behind the curtain, but my template actually includes. This is gonna upset Lulu greatly. My template actually includes a whole section for possible stall complications. And that is so that I can pace it if you're moving too fast, and I can ignore them if you are if you're if you're stalling.
If we're creating enough dramatic pacing on our
Yes.
own, you don't need to include it. Fantastic.
Right. And I always want the roleplay. I'm always going to want the roleplay, so I will do what I can to not penalize you for the roleplay. You're right. This was a fantastic session as far in terms of gaining information and making progress towards your objective. And I'm going to include that when I do write this. It's going to be written as feeling like this was about a session and a half to 2 sessions worth of expected content. That's how I feel this session went approximately.
Okay, so actually faster than you anticipated.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to make up some stall complications for this one.
AKA
That
the zombie
actually does
pirates.
remind me. How far? I was not here for a good portion of that. What exactly is the situation you're going into right now?
We're not entirely sure yet, but we know where we're going, and we did so without arousing any suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
So you know where the Void Eagle is.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For those of you that want an even deeper look behind the curtain, this is actually the template that I have for my mission write-ups. Until you select one, I have only completed the first 3 boxes. Well, the first 3 rows. Those are the only details that I write until I know that you guys are going to actually engage them. Because I don't need any of the other stuff for the NPC stuff. If the NPCs are going on something. And it's likely that that some of these details will change on the next mission turn. But to get back to Lulu's question, yeah, you guys actually achieved a couple of bonus objectives, or at least what I'm going to put down as would have been bonus objectives. You found out that there is a
Pirate Queen.
a pirate queen.
I know that's probably not really necessarily the term yet, but it could be.
You found out that the Void Eagle has been doing this for a while, and has made a little bit of a business of it, and you know where the Void Eagle is.
And just so you can be aware, I'm sure you've already picked up on this, Dexter, but I'll make it explicit. When I think about the idea of taking bespoke characters into pre-made missions, this was pretty typical of how I anticipate approaching problems with Oogie. And that's, I'm going to make that kind of clear to everybody else. If I am given lead on anything, this is the approach I'm going to take.
That actually does remind me, because I did want to ask this because I brought it up with Dex before, and I was kind of wibble wobbly on it. For what you like, and I know this is getting into like mechanics a little bit, but have you, Tulare, thought what you're going to go into for your foci for Oogie?
I am pretty confident that my 2nd level focus is going to be the 2nd level of Shrewd Merchant.
Mm-hmm.
We had discussed likely strategic scenarios, and that seemed like it would be a prudent one for me to take. I haven't thought about it any further than that.
Right. I knew you'd gotten a little bit in an administrate, and I was asking mostly because if you're building a character that was going into like planner, which of all the people, it seemed like you were the most likely one to do that. I wanted to know so I could avoid it going forward because I've got a lot of stuff I want to focus on anyway. But it's one of the things that sorry.
I looked at it because I saw that conversation going on, and Planner would not be entirely out of character for Oogie, but it did feel like the wording of Planner was more about military strategy than.
I actually wouldn't say that. I don't think we actually used it for military strategy. I think we mostly used it for like planning heists or like making more general plans. It's more about being able to organize like things in general, I think.
Okay.
As an example.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. As an example, if somebody had Planner and wanted to organize how you approached this meeting and getting this information from this ship, I certainly would have allowed that to be the plan. I can't remember if I left the language in, but I want
You can also plan. You can also if one of your party members is having like a wedding and you want to set up like this is when we're going to do the dance, this is when we're going to make dinner. You can also plan for that and get bonuses on rolls.
Yes, yeah. Yes, you can also wedding plan with it. So it's just kind of a way for the players to have stepping back. Players frequently step outside and make a little bit of a plan of how they want to approach a situation. Planner lets you have explicit bonuses for having done so. If you came to this ship with the explicit plan of Archibald is going to try and steer a conversation towards finding where the ship is or getting enough information that they can find it, while Oogie keeps everything calm and peaceful and Marcus just acts as a distraction, then that's good enough for me as far as a plan goes, and lets the person that is ostensibly making this actual plan and serving it to these people give them bonuses from time to time. Aid them without actually contributing to that conversation, because the assistance that they're giving was, okay, at the planning table, okay, and if you approach it like this, that'll probably work best with these pirates. Or if their personality is like this, then that's good. Or if they're high and drunk, then you might want to take this approach. That's all part of the plan, and that's where the administer for an aid check comes in.
Yeah. Sorry, does that make sense?
It does. I'm mulling it over because here's the thing. I, as a player, can be a planner. I don't like the hemming and hawing, so I will often take the first serviceable sounding plan that anybody proposes and say, that's what we're doing. We're going to go do that because that's there's a story to be told there. That's how I tell a story.
I like that. I like that approach.
I have GM'd at tables, and I really dislike this, where the players approach planning for problems as though they're thinking to themselves, if we come up with the perfect plan, then the GM can't stop us from succeeding. And the problem with that is that the GM has a responsibility to create drama at the table. They have to throw a wrench into the plan, no matter what it is, because otherwise you don't have a story, you just have a description of this thing that we did one time. And so I'm willing to go with whatever makes a good story, and you don't need a bulletproof plan to make a good story. In fact, the less bulletproof the plan is, the better the story can be.
Right. I think that actually gets gets to a point where there was something I wanted to discuss with you about planner in general decks. I think the problem here is that just having that, like, it was something I considered, that maybe just having this ability where we have to go in with like an explicit plan actually slows down the game a lot. Like, yeah, it gives bonuses, but it might come at the expense of like enjoyment of the game.
Spontaneity.
You weren't here for much of the conversation I've had about that, because it's all been just strictly between me and Meowkin. But I have peeled that back. I only want a vague sense of what you guys are doing now. And that's fine. I've definitely peeled back the bullet point list of exactly how you guys were doing that, because I agree with you, that was too much.
Yeah. Now it really just needs to be like an outline of, hey, this is how we intend to approach this.
Right. I'm just kind of wondering if it might not be better to just go entirely the opposite direction for it, and go into it like that one precog ability, or like have you ever played
Blades in
in
the
the
Dark?
Yeah.
I knew where this was going.
You know exactly what I'm going for.
I have only negative opinions of Blades in the Dark based on what people have told me about Blades in the Dark.
Blades in the Dark is actually there are issues I have with it, but it is absolutely this. I think it's a really good example of like modern approaches to tabletop game design, and like I actually really like it.
I'm sure it is. It's just that the things about it that people go on about are things that I generally don't particularly like. In gaming, I don't like the retro points basically as much.
Yeah, all right, then you won't like the idea, because I was thinking, well, maybe planner can be used as like saying, all right, we did plan for this and that in advance. Here's the flashback to prove it, and then like go into that with that approach, because presumably the player or the characters would be better planners than the players are.
Right. Retro points encourage the illusion of planning without actually having the players hem and haw at the table trying to come up with a plausible plan.
So the hair that I want to split is that I don't want the players to feel like they have to hem and haw, but I do want them to decide in advance what their actual approach is going to be. And calling it a plan or even an outline is still misleading. I just want to know what your approach is. If you're going to go in there friendly, if you're going to go in there argent in charge, though, that's basically what I want to know. The example I gave earlier, where I laid out specifically that Archibald was going to do this and Oogie was going to do that, that was misleading, because I don't even need to know that. I just want to know that you guys are planning to go in there to get information with an approach that is friendly and trying to put the pirates at ease. That's about all that I want. And I do want that in advance. This is another hair to split. The style and tone that I like for this game is in contrast with the kind of flashback retro point. On the other hand, in the superhero game that I play in, that's a built-in part of the system, and it feels like a built-in part of a comic book narrative, which is also inherently included in the rule structure and gameplay, and it's perfectly fine there. I'm happy with it.
What I was going to say is, I think it's very much designed for the heist narrative, because like those sorts of flashbacks are an inherent part of, heist flick.
The heist trope.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I think which is why they're present there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sorry, it just doesn't jive with me as a GM.
Okay.
And so even if I were to try and adopt it, it
would be at odds with you. You would not support it enthusiastically.
Yeah.
That's fair. And I don't. If I have one misgiving about this last session, it's that I know I tend to be a little bit large and in charge, personally. I don't want to take screen time or leadership from other players, so I'm very much hoping that in future other people are eager to step in and have them be the mission leaders.
We'll try. You and I can try and moderate that ourselves here. I mean, other players can certainly step in, but I'm going to put kind of a little bit of responsibility on you and on me to moderate how much screen time you monopolize. And yes, I did.
Were you comfortable with my level of participation this time, or do I need to ease off?
No, I was okay with it this time, but caveat to that, I also knew that I needed the stall time. So
Yeah.
that was an influence there. I was fine with you taking more time because I needed that to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I suppose the other thing too is in future we'll have typically 1 or 2 more players at the table. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
One and a
Again,
half
like,
more.
1.5 more. Yeah. I was mostly.
Lulu was kind of here, but
I was only here to give my 2 cents on a couple things rather than really roleplay.
Yeah, and I appreciate you showing up, Lulu. I know that you've got a lot of stuff that you're doing, so I was expecting you to not be here at all, and I'm happy that you were, even even in limited capacity.
I am really, really burnt out from what I'm doing right now.
So you needed this